Hello.
Good afternoon, Wednesday Wooly. How are you?
Not too bad. Yeah, it is Wednesday. That is
It's
weird.
Wednesday. It's the day before the Game Awards, which I have discovered in the past few days has maybe the worst acronym I've ever seen in my life because it's the TGAs. But what you're actually saying is the Game Awards when you
The
say
TGAs.
the TGAs.
Yep. Correct.
Terrible.
Chai tea.
Terrible.
I mean, it's so your choices are that or VGAs, which
But that's a
then
different thing.
means you
Totally.
can't look up your fucking screen or video card issues. Like
You're right. I never
they both
realized.
suck. They both
But
suck.
also Spike TV owns that shit.
Spike owns the VGAs, so this has to be the TGAs. Yes.
Wooly, I have a super good idea. Do you want to hear my really super good idea?
Go for it.
All right. Wooly, I want you to hire me, and you're going to pay me $10 million to teach you and other people to be tall. Okay? Now, you're not allowed to look at me or measure me. Okay? But you're going to give me all the money, and if I can't make other people tall, you could just put me on any project you want. Does that seem like a good deal to you?
Are there any deadlines on the tallness?
Yeah,
or...
it's by the end of the quarter.
Okay. All right.
I have to make all of the people that you know who are short taller.
Okay.
Because that sounds like a good deal to Sony. I'm trying to make a joke about Bungie here. Bungie's never made any money on Destiny.
Getting
ever.
tall. Okay, I'm trying to find the tall part and
The
where
thing
the okay.
is that I'm
All
not
right.
tall. I'm very short, in fact. I tried.
Okay, the thing that you don't know
That I
too
can't
much
do
about that you
and
can't
aren't.
possibly do. I mean,
So Bungie, a company that doesn't make any money by itself, you buy them to tell you how that your other projects can make money, but they don't actually make any money, so they don't know how to tell you to make any money.
Yeah, okay, so right in then. This is like it's Bungie's basically there's an article that came out describing the soul crushing environment that exists there now, and a lot of the source of this is because half of the board of developers there is currently Sony execs and the other half is Bungie execs fighting to keep Sony from taking over the whole company. So there is a like straight up like war in the boardroom like every time decisions are made because one group is interested in the buyout and the other is interested in not. And the fight for not being bought out rolls out into all the things we saw, like the layoffs and the story that goes into the 100 employees that were laid off last month. Of the 1,200 that were there is now they're talking about what else they did to like cut costs, and it's fucking nuts.
Did you read this or did you skim it? Because I
skimmed and I have some highlights that were particularly
so much.
interesting.
So this is IGN.com's article called "Bungie devs say atmosphere is soul crushing amid layoffs."
Yeah. So particularly, okay. So when it's this like little like shot and chaser here, right? 1 month after a major round of layoffs, roughly 100 Bungie employees of 1,200 of those remaining at Destiny, remaining at the Destiny developer says the cuts, as well as other cost-cutting measures, came alongside the apparent scramble of leadership to avoid a total Sony takeover.
And you're like, but why? Hold on. I'm going to hold on for a second.
Go for it.
The first question is like, why were they so desperate to cut? Mm-hmm. And it's because the deal they made with Sony is that Bungie's board of directors got to keep running the company as long as the company made money. And if the company didn't make enough money, then the whole of Bungie would just become a full subsidiary of Sony, and Sony could tell them to do anything they wanted, and it would be 100% their company. So they become incentivized per quarter to hit very specific numbers, or the board loses their jobs.
The slow takeover, like the fucking Majin symbol on Vegeta, you know, like
Yeah,
tap
absolutely.
into the power, but you know who your soul belongs to now. Yeah. So of course, when the layoffs are what are we're seeing publicly, and so what this story kind of goes into is the stuff happening behind the scenes as well, the cost cutting measures that were implemented, including
There's so much.
a studio-wide hiring freeze, reducing travel budgets, elimination of holiday bonuses,
That's big. That one's huge.
keeping its annual Bungie Day virtual, delaying its week-long company pentathlon event to next December, reducing the number of morale events such as cooking, knitting classes, etc., from monthly to quarterly, pausing or fully ending benefits for employee compensation adjustments, and
The new lunch program, employee donation matching, peer recognition program, gift cards for your birthday, performance bonuses are down from 100% to 80%.
After being above 100% for good performance several previous years running. Okay. Others said they were rebuffed repeatedly and discouraged from even discussing the layoffs when they tried to ask questions. Employees in one department recalled a session where the department head was asked if leadership is taking salary cuts to prevent the layoffs, if that had been considered, and the response was,
Bungie's not that kind of company.
like, run down that list again of like 8,000 things we'll try. We're so desperate. We'll try everything, guys.
Also, this is
everything.
This is a bonus funzie.
But I won't do that.
Deeper in the article, where there's people that got there's more people that got laid off that were more important than were previously reported. So Bungie's general counsel, the lawyer, a guy named Don McGowan, who won that suit against a player who harassed Bungie, he's gone. They also specifically laid off the heads of internal company clubs for pride at Bungie, women at Bungie, and accessibility at Bungie. And two of those little clubs on their website, the web pages are broken now. So those things are dead.
I will do anything for cash, but I won't do that. Oh no. Like, it's of course that's the fucking, end of the line. There is we're not that kind of company. And then yeah, of course. So you're like, all right, take that as your that's the mentality, right, of that board of directors handling all of this. Everything's on fire. Everything is in crisis. We can't let this takeover happen. We've got to do everything we can do.
Hey, Wooly, I have a cost-cutting measure. What if? So we all know that people in QA are, quote, non-developers, end quote.
Oh.
Right? So I'm reading that right. That is in quotes. Mm-hmm. So what if we fired a shit ton of our internal QA and outsourced QA?
Good.
That would surely save us money. Yes?
Because
we can get our 10,000 hours for cheap over here.
Absolutely. Yep. And just you're going to get the same. So the Q and QA will be upheld and underlined, assuredly, if we take it and throw it over there and see what's going on. Outsourcing, having worked both, I've talked infinitely about it, but having worked both in outsourcing QA and internally, like you've seen and heard the reports of like shit where they literally are like, people are checking into their kits and outsourcing, sitting there not doing anything sometimes, and like billing the man hours regardless. You need a team of people in the studio that are working with your developers, that are there, and you need them treated like human beings usually to get shit accomplished. It's kind of
like this is going to sound very strange, but I could tell that you were doing a more effective job at IDOS than you were at the outsourced places that you worked.
Interesting.
Based on the look on your face when you would show up to record something in the evening. Because you would show up from IDOS and you look like a normal person who someone listened to at your job. But when you showed up from like Babel, you were just like dead in your eyes and your soul, because the bugs that you had submitted, you knew weren't going to get fixed.
Well, the difference is caring about what you're doing having an effect on the of what happens versus it not having an effect whatsoever. And like and then caring and then pointing out the problem, or caring too much is like, well, now you're an issue because you're being an ass about this. And at the end of the day, anyone above you doesn't actually give a fuck about what's being worked on. But the thing is, of course, is that for these people to be internal and like, you know, working close to the devs and such, that's the effective way to go in most cases. But you have to have this bullshit where it's like they're treated as, again, non-devs, right?
Non-devs.
Like that quotation mark says everything you need to know. That is the most heavy weighted 2 words right there, because you're like, guys. Okay, that means they're over there. You lunch break separately. You know what I mean? Like you're not part of the group.
Why do these QA guys keep putting bugs in our games?
And you just know the story of how they're treated as a result of that. Yeah, it's kind of like it all. I'm reading this. I'm scanning. I'm grabbing the bits and pieces, and booming in the back of my head is a voice from the heavens from years ago, and it's just screaming the word wet naps. I don't know if you remember wet naps, but it never goes away, dude. It never goes away.
So we skimmed over it, but I've intentionally leaving the best quote for last. Straight from the article. Several people we spoke to told us that leaders had reiterated across multiple meetings they couldn't guarantee there wouldn't be more layoffs, with 2 specifically confirming previous reports. The chief people officer, Holly Barbakovi, outright stating that the layoffs were a, quote, lever, end quote, the company would pull again.
Cool.
Like it's a trap door that disappears people out of the company.
Well, you know what, guys? Keep saying to yourselves, we're not that kind of company, right? Look yourself in the mirror, stare, wash your face, and look deep into your soul and say, we're not that kind of company, as it all fucking crumbles around you. You know? Yeah, just everything we can do, every possible penny we can save.
So,
but God forbid the fucking execs take a cut anywhere.
So it's pretty on the wall here, because the deal with Sony is they have to make their numbers, right? They have to make their numbers or Sony takes control, because they wouldn't be happy with the cut. And the solution to not hitting their numbers was cutting 10% of their staff, all bonuses, cost of living adjustments, and every single perk that existed for working there. But you can't cut those things again. You can't take away holiday bonuses again.
More. Yeah.
Right?
Double. Negative. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now they have to do 100. And they also had to delay Final Shape, which means they have a quarter that's empty. So they have to do like twice as good with like 85% of the staff, and the staff are all like thinking about quitting.
And this is all like on the heels of the last Bungie story, which was, hey, Marathon's coming back, except it's not, and everyone who's a Marathon fan is pretty bummed out about what they saw.
That's right.
Like, you know, like the thing that could be like the excitement that might generate some money down somewhere or something is like actually not really, People are kind of fucking
Listen.
pissed about what's going on with
Okay.
the other thing.
We're going to need Final Shape to be the best ever. We cut your bonus right before Christmas, and we can't authorize you any overtime. And your boss is gone. And QA is now at half strength, so you're just going to have to fix some of those yourself. But Final Shape. It's going to be the fact that it's called Final Shape is so funny.
And by the way, as we double, triple, and quadruple the workload on the individual QA teams, we also punish you for everything that you're like the inability to keep up with this increased workload, the weight on your shoulders. Every time you stumble on that, we're gonna fucking penalize you heavier and heavier because you have to do more than your fair share of the job, but that's the gig. Too fucking bad.
So we're now in the post-acquisition death spiral. The next step is for Final Shape to come out and for everything to be inexplicably more expensive. Right? Like every single cosmetic, every single, like maybe the game itself, just more expensive because, well, we need to make more money on the same thing. And then this will lead to lower player retention, which will lead to panic firings, which will then lead to Sony taking over a company that is a shell of its former self.
And again, and don't forget,
wait, they did that this week? What? Did I miss like a huge Destiny price increase that happened this week?
Oh, did that already go down?
Did that just happen?
Well, we are living in the times, aren't we? The news is all around us.
Seeing people say $50 for dungeon, what does that mean? They already did that? Someone send me a link or something. Sure.
But yeah, and you know, with each layoff, there comes the increased workload. With the increased workload, and all of that, there's a whole part of this article as well that's talking about like increased hostility from leadership to the teams and such as well, because like everyone is just the whip crack is coming from on high, and it just, everyone hates being there. It just sucks.
$15 for starter pack of shitty weapons and skins you would get within 2 hours of playtime. Starter bundle. Okay, yeah, no, they're adding the bullshit.
Cool. All right, so yeah. Anyways, you know, like the idea, like the thing is though, it's you kind of have to imagine, like, again, it's on fire and like half the boardroom is like running in circles and fucking going and freaking out, and the other half is just like licking their chops, just sitting there watching. You know, like the Sony execs are just there like trying not to drool every time something explodes.
Aren't even getting what they wanted, because Sony bought it for two reasons. One, they wanted Destiny money, which God damn it. Okay, we've been talking about this for like 5 years, right? Everybody wants to be Destiny. Everybody looks at Destiny as like the success for the live service model. And it's like, you mean the Destiny that Activision willingly let go, and then the Destiny that had to allow itself to get bought by a different company to make ends meet? Like, Destiny doesn't make any fucking money. It doesn't. It's not successful. It looks successful, but it's not actually. But Sony gives them $2.5 billion,
right,
so that they can have some of the money they don't have, and then they gave them extra money specifically. Don't fire anybody. We want everyone to stay there. We want you guys working at peak efficiency. And the instant that deal was gonna fall through with the quarterly fucking reports, they went and fired 10% of people, and they're saying we could fire another 10%, whatever it takes to hit the numbers. So by the end of this fucking thing, you're going to have like 25% of the people gone. The game is going to be overpriced and unloved because everything's all rushed and shit. And Sony's going to go, cool, we own Destiny. But the version of Destiny that we have now sucks compared to the one we bought. And that one wasn't even that good.
Right. It's kind of nuts to just imagine to still like you're looking at a ship that is being the mast is being fought over by these groups regardless for the like Sony is clearly like this as bad as this is like they clearly want to move these people out, take over, and I don't know what the layoffs look like at that point, considering the way the rest of this year has gone in terms of layoffs in general. That number could severely increase. But I don't know. I feel like, again, like we know about there's Final Shape and there's Marathon. Is there anything unannounced that like is being worked on that hasn't been?
I think it's those two.
That's just those two, huh? Yeah.
And it's like Bungie is supposed to be overseeing the production of Sony's like live service division. Would you take advice from these guys right
now? Well, yeah. So there you go. That's
oh my god,
that is the state of affairs.
Like every single acquisition has led to everything just disintegrating like right away. Have you noticed that?
I mean, like we're still, there's so many like Embracer Group knockoff stories that like not knockoff, domino effect things that are happening from week to week. That it's just like, yeah, it's almost like there's no, I don't even throw them on anymore. But it's just like, you know, that fell apart and everything as a result of them not getting the Saudi deal that they were supposed to get or whatever means it's all on fire, and that's it. Acquisitions and firings is 2023 in terms of.
Oh god, what game was it? There was a classic PC game that System Shock. It was System Shock. System Shock got into a very weird state in the aughts because nobody could figure out who actually owned it. It had been passed around via buyouts and via mergers to the point where no one could figure out who actually owned System Shock until like the tens, I think it was, or the late aughts, where it was like a fucking insurance company out of England had somehow ended up with the rights to System Shock, right? And then Night Dive and, you know, whoever, they went and bought it from them, and now we have System Shock games again, right? Embracer Group is that. They're like fucking Deus Ex and fucking Legacy of Kain and fucking Time Splitters and all that shit. It's just gonna languish in a fucking copyright safe at Embracer Group to be dead forever until we forget that Embracer Group even has them, or they sell them as part of a fucking portfolio of IP rights to some fucking I don't know,
liquidation
like Saudi
packages.
insurance adjustment.
Fuck, what was it? Yeah, okay, yeah. Unity 300, Microsoft 10,000, Digital Extremes, Epic Games, Telltale, Bungie, CD Projekt, Ascendant, EA, Embracer, Volition, Amazon. Like, just, yeah, right.
Like, if you are part of a company that got bought by Embracer Group, you're going to get fired.
I think, okay, so I'm looking here at like they're tracking it at about 7,000 layoffs this year total for a number of video game companies. I guess not counting this.
Wooly, I just got a link from an article from May, which I had not noticed. Back in May, the season pass prices for Destiny got kicked up. They increased the price on it.
Mm-hmm.
They went from 2 silver bottles, 500. Okay, yeah. So it was already starting, like back in May, which was the price increase. So hopefully they hit their numbers this time.
Mm-hmm.
They won't.
Mm-hmm.
They will not. They will not hit their numbers. Oh
Well,
man.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, you want to have some fun? Go down to Glassdoor. Are you familiar with Glassdoor, Wooly?
Isn't that is it a review site?
It is a review site for your employer.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You go down to Glassdoor, and for whatever reason, Bungie devs love posting on Glassdoor on the way out. So you get a little taste of like how's it feel behind the scenes. And it always seems to be like the same thing. Like they don't complain about the money, they don't complain about the perks, which is good for video game dev, right? They all complain that the middle management and the senior devs don't listen to anyone and are like egocentric assholes. And they go, I can't take it anymore, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only so many years I can work here without being listened to even a little. I'm out of here.
In pretty much almost every case I can think of where it's always somebody who gives a fuck and knows what they're doing is roadblocked, bottlenecked, etc., whatever, by somebody who doesn't give a fuck and is also getting annoyed that you keep poking them about this thing because they care.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
No one. No, and you're just like. It doesn't matter what these extra little things that get taken away or get thrown. What it doesn't, because at the end of the day, most of the time it's like I want the thing that I made, I want the game I'm working on to come out good, and I want that to be something I'm proud of, And yeah, like it's always just bullshit like that. Shitty management.
You know what else? There's another company that acts that way. Bethesda has had people leave over specifically Todd. Where they're like, Todd, can I please have a new animation system? When this shit's 14 years old. Can we please spend some technical time on it? And the answer that comes back is like, maybe in 5 years. And people just leave over that.
The constant is also the hey, do you think if we there's a producer role open, do you think if we hired from somebody that is literally in the team that knows this project inside out and is aware of the exact needs on a day-to-day basis, that person could do a good job? It's like, yeah, sure, we could, but fuck that. We bring in an outsider who doesn't know anything about this, who's just really good at talking, and they're going to jump in diagonally with a fake resume essentially, and spend let's say 6 months or so just kind of walking around and
talking to people at
just
their desk,
talking to
stopping
people
them from working.
Yeah, and then taking whatever they can gather from those conversations and writing up a report and sending it upstairs and making it seem like they're involved in any way, shape, or form. And in the meantime, absolutely nothing is fucking happening. Yeah, it's a constant thing. Just like, no, we get someone from the outside, and in a lot of cases too, it's like, well, they're going to come in at a rate that is
you would never get internally.
Of course not, right? And and it's like,
because you had to find them, you had to scout them,
and that demoralizer right there is in many cases enough for someone to be like, yeah, okay, fuck this, I'm out. I can literally I can put this same work into something else somewhere else and actually have a shot at it mattering. So yeah, cool. As usual, this is a story that is just a mid fucking.
Oh, we have a correction from somebody in the chat who worked at Bethesda that says it was the board that was actually blocking animation improvements, not Todd.
But yeah, this is a report from the middle of the smoldering, burning house. The fire is not yet out, nor has the building been saved. It is an ongoing story, so we'll see what the fuck happens.
Yeah, we're in the part of the story where it's like, you're just gonna have to do more with less.
Yeah, no. This is reporters running into the house and asking the people trapped inside, like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, not
Bad.
great. Cool. More at 6. Anyway.
What fucking? Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, that's fine. I'll just wash that all away with a cool, refreshing sip here of my beverage.
Oh yeah, your delicious 7-Up. What type of 7-Up is that?
This is a 0 sugar 7-Up.
You know, it's a shame. It's a shame, Wooly,
but
that's not
I just
a big
need
old
something,
can of Mountain Dew.
If I can just find a way to
Oh, there you go. Woo!
Oh, in the shot. We good? Am I gonna block it?
Little small.
You can read that. Well, it doesn't matter if you can read it. The AI can read it, right?
Yeah, I can read it.
That's all that matters. All right, in there. Bring on the Mountain Dew raids. Let's go, baby. Oh, man. So, yeah, you ever read a story and it's like, okay, I know we all make the Black Mirror jokes, but actually that's just Black Mirror season 1, episode 2.
I'm gonna put my arms up and yell McDonald's.
McDonald's. It's just Black Mirror season 1, episode 2. Or if you'd like, you can also go grab the old green text.
The verification can.
Verification can, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mountain Dew's got a promotion where they're basically like, you can join the Dew raids or whatever, and
Mountain Dew's gonna raid your Twitch channel
and give you a bunch of benefits and include you in a group, and all you have to do is it's gonna scan everyone in gaming to see if they have a can of Mountain Dew visible on camera, and if you have one, you're automatically eligible to participate. Program. And then and you can get into all those benefits and whatever. However, if that can is ever not visible, you will be prompted to return the can into your visible camera spectrum.
I think automating this has potential, because the only thing this robot can reasonably ascertain is whether or not there's a can in focus. Not what I'm saying about the can doing to the can.
Absolutely.
Or what part of the body I'm putting the can in.
Of course. I'm sure lots of entrepreneurs are out there trying to figure out great ways to use cans on Twitch.
What I'm comparing to the can.
Perhaps even those who are, there's a couple daredevils out there that are just like, yeah, I'm about ready to shut this Twitch account down. You know? So let's just get this can up there and see if we can find the greatest audience.
Now you're gonna want to use a full can, okay? You don't listen. I don't know if any of you guys watch Justin Wang's YouTube channel. It's pretty good, but you want to use a full can. You don't want to empty the can out. That's a recipe for disaster. You need the pressure on the inside.
It is truly just when you're kind of reminded of like the Dew Halo case. Right, the special like Mountain Dew finds ways to just, as they embrace the gamer brand shit, you cringe into oblivion with like the limited edition Mountain Dew and Doritos openings, unboxings, whatever. And they've been a little too silent for a little too long, and now we know it's because they've been charging their power.
You know, I wonder how much. Because Mountain Dew has always been the weirdest, like, intensely advertised of all the sodas, right? Coke and Pepsi understand that they're fucking Coke and Pepsi, right?
Yeah.
But, Mountain Dew attacks you.
Yeah, well, because Coke is trying to solve race relations, and Mountain Dew...
Wasn't that Pepsi?
Whichever one. Say, what are you fucking...
Well, no, it's important, because, Coke might have.
Okay. but Mountain Dew recognizes that its place is amongst the gremlins, right?
Yeah.
It lives in the Underdark.
But so it's always been like the most aggressively advertised soda, and I always wondered how much of that is to try and undo the brand damage that came from the rumor that I don't know where it came from, but I heard it for most of my life, was that Mountain Dew fucking kills your balls.
Kills your sperm.
It kills your sperm.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yellow 5.
That was
That's
everywhere.
it. That's all it was. Yes.
That was
absolutely.
like a known thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That like Mountain Dew like makes you sterile.
That was
for decades.
Yeah, Yellow 5 in Mountain Dew is gonna fucking kill your boys. Is all we heard of for that. I want to say the entire like 90s. Mm-hmm.
It was crazy, and like I don't remember where it came from, and it was just ever present. It was everywhere. Every time you talked about Mountain Dew,
doesn't
that kill your dick?
It came from the same place as hamsters in Richard Gere's asshole and Tommy Hilfiger on Oprah. You know, it came from the same place
for like 20 years.
Yeah. Everywhere. The root, like the shit that like you like, no one knows where, but that thing it's just it is now canon, right? It is now a canon event. And then there was a similar reverse thing with like with Lauryn Hill, and it's like Lauryn Hill doesn't want white people listening to her music or something like that. I forgot what it was.
That
but,
one, yeah.
Yeah, and but it's like these it just comes from, it's like the unstoppable rumor that is just like de facto reality being rewritten, you know. So yeah, I think what everyone needs to do is get themselves a can of Mountain Dew and keep it at the ready. And if you ever feel like, it's time to bring your, let's say you decide, hey, I think I'm done with Twitch. I think I'm going to be, maybe jumping over to another platform. Or if you're just like, I don't think I want to be on the platform anymore, and you want to go out with a bang, well, you can put up the bat signal first, hold up that can and gather around, everybody, before God knows what happens. I don't know. I would never violate
listen, man,
TOS.
all I'm saying is that I've only drunk a single half can of Mountain Dew in my life. And when I went to the doctor to get my boys checked, everything was A+.
Okay.
So there's my personal anecdote. Mountain Dew never had a chance to affect my shit. I was also just reading a Vice article in which rats that were given a bunch of chemicals from Mountain Dew did, in fact, receive lower sperm production, but they never tested it on humans.
No kidding. That's wild. Damn. Okay.
And that test was in 2009.
Okay, gamers, we're going to need you to not only hold up the can, but also hold up the ultrasound to confirm that you totally, your boy's work, and that you totally knocked up your lady.
Hey,
you got your wife preggers, and here's the can to prove it. And if we're going to need both of those on camera at all times to confirm your virility and your drinking Mountain Dew.
Listen, think about it. If you hold up this is a monster, but if you hold up a can of Mountain Dew, you can say the following thing. You can say, "Hey, listen, guys, if you drink a lot of Mountain Dew, you'll never have to wear a rubber." Never. You're free and clear as long as you drink the dew right before.
I don't know if that's gonna fix the problem. I think the marketing team is trying to work the other angle on that one. Yeah, good times. I like that. That's good.
Oh, yeah. This feels like it's gonna be discontinued when somebody shoves the fucking can up their ass.
I mean, if we're lucky, that's where that stops.
Yeah, if we're lucky,
frankly, But I'm just like, oh, you just, again, creative minds out there. People are much more fucking creative than me. Hey, so Of course, everyone will get to see these glorious finales, but you know who won't get to see it?
Who's that?
South Korea,
Oh no! Why?
because Twitch is pulling out of South Korea.
Oh no!
Speaking of
Why?
pulling out,
Hey,
this one actually is like,
it's complicated.
so it's interesting because it's complicated, but it's simultaneously not. So Twitch basically is South Korea's Twitch division is shutting down. The CEO said that they took a significant effort to reduce operating costs in Korea, but ultimately the fees there were 10 times more expensive than most other countries, and they can't afford to run there anymore. So Twitch is shutting down in Korea. And then it's like, what the fuck is happening with that? That it's 10 times higher. That's crazy. And it's like, you take a look at it, and it's like, oh shit, it's just net neutrality.
Yeah,
Right?
or the fact that they don't have it.
Or they don't have, exactly. It's just net neutrality, and the good old days of Ajit Pai coming back around again. So basically, the short version, for anybody who is unaware, is that in Korea you don't have, so net neutrality is basically this was the thing that was fought for some, like, I guess 10 years ago at this point, probably. It kept coming back up. But either way, it's just you want to make sure that ISPs and the provide the same level of data and speed and access and traffic across the board universally, and that you can't have any one particular blocking or degrading any other, or like and getting corporate interests involved at that level, so that it can avoid situations like what South Korea has. South Korea has laws that require ISPs to charge for the traffic they receive from each other, which is not something anywhere else does. The result of that is that a sender pays system exists, and so ISPs have to charge each other for all the traffic they're sharing, and then this is, of course, the cost is being passed down to the user, and this also results in if ISPs don't pay the fees that the other ISPs charge them for their connection, they can actively block them from connecting to each other. So you can have certain groups that are literally like certain sites are blocked, certain groups are blocked from each other simply because they're not paying the right fees. And again, all of this just results in shittier, slower, worse quality, more expensive internet for way more money for users. And it's a perfect end case example of why net neutrality is important, because when it doesn't exist and you have shit like this in place, it makes the internet fucking batshit for everyone, users, for operating companies, everyone involved. The whole thing sucks. And this is also sitting on a mountain of, like, apparently there's just like an endless history of corruption on top of this, right? Or
Wonderful.
Like even with these laws in place, there's a bunch of, like, again, people taking their skim, getting their hand in the pot and such, because there's extra money to be made everywhere whenever you have these types of systems in place, and there's lobbies to want to ensure that things never change and da. So it's a fucked situation. So yeah, when Twitch is like, we're pulling out of that, you go look at the situation with South Korean internet, and it's like, oh fuck, that actually, I get it. That makes sense.
It actually makes total sense. I get it.
Yeah. And
Sucks though.
It
Particularly for a Twitch streamer out there,
right? For the origin, the homeland of the mukbang, for the fucking StarCraft global.
I really wish that the secret cabal that runs the entire Korean government would allow for better internet prices.
That would be nice. Yeah, so much of there's so much, like, internet culture that is, like, related to or originated from Korea, and it's like the fact that they have this type of shit going on is horseshit. And the fact as well that, like, this could easily be echoed elsewhere if enough really rich companies get their way.
Yeah, that's right. Boo.
Big boo.
Boy,
Anyways,
everyone shut up. There's new Vampire Survivors DLC coming in a couple weeks.
well, I was gonna say that, like, we can definitely talk about the biggest announcement of the biggest new game announcement. But hold on. All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I don't want to hold on. I'm excited.
Okay, fine. Vampire Survivors, the only announcement for a game that matters this week.
Emergency meeting.
DLC, Among Us joins the roster. And more important than that is this was announced via what I can only describe as a Trigger-esque insane trailer where the Among Us astronauts are doing moves from Die Buster.
Yeah, it's so zany,
It's
man.
so
Among
sick.
Us little dudes are going into space to fight Frieza's army.
Full-on trigger explosions and Gynax shit going on in space. It's so cool. It looks great. And anytime I see that, I have to, like, I'm always, like, scrambling to, like, is this Trigger? No. Okay. Is it Volta? No. Okay, who did this? And I haven't found the answer to who made it. But it goes fucking hard. It's so sick. Yeah. Looks like Vampire Survivors, just full sci-fi chapter here is on its way. Very cool.
Hooray! So stupid.
All right, and that's all that mattered. Now, did you have a week?
I did. That week mainly consisted of Alan Wake, which I'm becoming less and less willing to talk about in any way. However, I will say, Gene Park from Washington Post, who is going on strike on Thursday in solidarity with his fellow Washington Post journalists, summed it up really well. That Alan Wake is incredible. In particular, it's incredible in that it shows that video games as a medium can also include all mediums. Alan Wake is a game. It is a video game cutscene story. It is a live action television program. It is a musical. It is a independent art film.
I see.
It is actually all things.
So what you're saying is, or what he's saying is we should cast Speak with Dead and raise Ebert.
Yes,
and
that's right.
have Ebert play Alan Wake 2, and
you can
then
ask him the 5 questions,
and then he's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just so. I played through a sequence the other night in which my mouth was just open and I was unmoving and staring for 16 and a half minutes.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you mean.
I feel very strongly when I say this. This is as much Metal Gear Solid 6 as Death Stranding was.
Wow.
Not about sneaking, not about Snake, but just about, like,
presentation.
You guys want to do
lore
some weird
stuff.
video game shit?
Mm-hmm. And is any of this like does the fact that you're streaming all of this live versus just playing it on your own, like, affecting
Not really.
any of this?
I wouldn't say.
Okay. Because
it's helpful because the streaming audience can point out things that I'm clearly missing because the events are very confusing. It's a game in which cause and effect and real and not real are malleable and unclear. So having an audience to grab on to details that you can't possibly appreciate on your first run is nice.
But after a couple of weeks of discussing it, you're hitting the point where getting into further detail is now impossible because of like
yeah,
premise spoilers.
Oh yeah, I will. I will say that excellent use of Sam Lake by Sam Lake, featuring Sam Lake.
Okay.
Also, I would sound crazy trying to describe it. Like I would sound like nonsensical and weird. Good game. Very good game. Excited to see the old gods of Asgard perform tomorrow night, like I fucking said they should.
Oh, the live music. Cool.
Very good game. I'm finishing that game tonight. I only have like an hour and a half left to go. So go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. You'll see the finale of Alan Wake 2. Okay. I will say, so the movie, fuck the game.
Yeah.
The game has a really stellar method of telling its story that I'm really impressed by, where you find manuscript pages that just like tell you of direct upcoming events, like as if it were the script. And those events are not ruined or even spoiled. They're like regarded. They're intended to be anticipated.
Interesting.
And then you get to the end of chapter, right? And you get to the end of chapter, and much like Twin Peaks: The Return, there's like a full radio single made for that game's chapter by Poets of the Fall, which is either like a lounge thing or like a pop hit or like a metal track. And it's just telling you the whole plot of the game to your face, like unambiguously, not like hiding it in metaphor. It's just like, this is what's going to happen, but it doesn't, and you know that they're telling you what the plot is, but you're not able to clinch it.
It also seems like what is happening is less important than how it's going to present itself to you.
Oh no, what's happening is also very important.
Okay, or rather, you're not going to be like, you won't, like the fact you've described, like the fact that it does these wild things and just becomes other things, and switches up on you. Like it's like, okay, the events unfolding and what is happening versus like how it does those things. If you can't anticipate what those methods are going to be or what those mediums
you know
are
what's going to happen more or less, but you don't know how it's going to happen.
How it's going to be presented to you, and that's already like that's good.
And it's like it just tells you the first song in the game just tells you what the whole plot of the game is going to be. And I was like, oh, good song. I feel like I'm learning the whole plot, but I don't understand. And then like 3 or 4 hours later, I'm like, well, I feel stupid. That was right in my face, wasn't it? The whole time.
Cool.
Incredible. Amazing. Not as good as Baldur's Gate though. That like I'm replaying my a file for myself for Baldur's Gate, and I'm just sitting around playing with my dolls and seeing like, oh, what if Lae'zel was a monk? What if I didn't let the kid get bit by the snake? I don't know. And it's just like overwhelming with super quality in every aspect.
Did the original game approach any of this?
Alan Wake?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was fun because I played Alan Wake Remastered right beforehand. Right? And it's when you compare both of them side by side, it's like come on, like the one is baby's first attempt and the other is like magnum opus, right? But the difference is that the Alan Wake came out in fucking 2010, right? Like this was coming out alongside shit like fucking BioShock and that era of the time. For the time, Alan Wake having a live action TV series called Bright Falls that dovetailed in the Night Spring segments, finding the pages and the general narration style. It wasn't quite as crazy, but but
that was novel.
It was going for it
right.
as much as it could at the time.
Within that era. Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Right. They were
It
like
also had like hilarious advertisement from Energizer and Nokia.
pushing the limits of the genre and the way you can incorporate mixed medium stuff based
Yeah.
on what's possible now. Yeah.
So like
Okay.
like you go back to Max Payne, and Max Payne comes out, and it's like it's comic book style, but like full narration in the noir style. And like that was weird when that came out. That was like 2001 or 2002. Like it was like a new way to do that.
Okay, yeah. But and we're not skirting too close to needing to see the Yorha stage play to get the full context.
Oh no. The so like I didn't play Quantum Break, right?
Yeah.
And Quantum Break features two characters very prominently that are in Alan Wake 2. And I was able to pick up those are the guys from Quantum Break. Right? That being said, there is one thing that I will talk about the game's story that just is hilarious if you did not play Control. Because like, how do I put this? Wooly, you've heard me talk about the Federal Bureau of Control, right? Like, we gotta take care of,
Yeah.
That government agency has a role to play in Alan Wake 2. And if you didn't play Control, it feels like the most absurd asshole conceivable for the story. Like, oh yeah, the government's Ghostbusters are here now.
Okay. Right. But
They're,
being familiar,
cool,
you're like,
wonderful.
oh shit, there they are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it would probably feel absolutely insane and unearned.
Okay. Cool.
Good game. I beat Like a Dragon Gaiden, and despite being kind of middling in the middle, it has the best ending of any Like a Dragon game.
Whoa.
It has the best ending of any Like a Dragon game, where I had to like stop myself from like ugly crying.
Huh. Okay. Well, okay, no, wait. To be fair, I haven't heard you really talk much about the endings of the other games as highlights or
Seven's
points.
great.
Yeah, okay. In all the times I've heard about like the Yakuza series, I don't think I've heard anyone really talk about like, oh yeah, that fucking like finale, you know? It's always just been like the wacky shit along the way.
And it also is really, really funny. It's really, really funny because the ending doesn't work. It doesn't work. That game does not work unless you've played 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Just all of the emotional like baggage from that are from like 1 and 3. The games you are least likely to have played because they're old as fuck.
Or even, well, there's the remakes though, right? So
Yeah, but still.
yeah. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, and 6. Yeah. So hey, Wooly, if you ask me right now, what's the 3 worst Yakuza games? I would tell you 1, 3, and 6.
Oh, okay.
And those are the games that this game is trading off of.
Fuck. No outs. Okay. Got it.
Incredible. Fantastic. Amazing. And then it just leads right into, hey man, would you want to play the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth demo? Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay, so finishing off Alan Wake tonight, and the game awards tomorrow.
The Game Awards tomorrow. And then I got Rogue Trader, Warhammer 40K later in the week. Hey, Wooly, is that Baldur's Gate patch on the news?
No.
Okay, so it's actually vitally important. So Baldur's Gate 3 got a patch this past week called Patch 5. Do you know what Patch 5 added?
A new playable character?
Nope. It added the Citadel DLC to Baldur's Gate 3.
Huh.
It added a playable epilogue where all the surviving characters show up 6 months after the end of the game and have a big party. and you ask how everyone's been, and you figure out the long-term ramifications of every single character in the game's quest line, and you get letters from every surviving character you ever spoke to.
Whoa.
There are permutations if you are dead. There are permutations for if other characters are dead. How did they finish their storylines? Did they die off screen because you weren't good enough to them when they tried to do the storyline you told them not to do?
Wow. And and can this be? Will this update? Can it work if you're already in the middle of your playthrough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They included fucking memes from the actors. They have Jennifer English reciting GIF poetry and saying, okay, I'm God's favorite princess. Sorry, I'm a hater and a gatekeeper, but I'm God's favorite princess and the most interesting girl in the world. They've got a sequel hook in it.
Wow.
They have the canonization of the death of the imp named Bing Bong from the fucking Twitch D&D campaign the actors did 2 months ago.
Oh, so it's really just Citadel, and memes included, character wrap-ups.
It's not as long. It's like half an hour, depending. But it does account for every permutation.
Holy shit. Okay.
Like Dirge has one in which they're a ghost if you kill yourself at the end of the game. Like even that level of permutation.
That's the other thing too, is I guess I also don't know how much of an open road the main story is in this game either, because I kind of assume that major plot points have to occur, therefore everyone still has a story that kind of resembles each other, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
it's that open-ended. Your whole party. Yeah, okay. Wow.
Yeah. Like a couple companions get like long endings associated with them. Because the original endings for these companions weren't like, you know, in depth enough. So let's actually follow, like, have the camera follow outside of the party to whatever the fuck they happen to be at.
Damn. So what Mass Effect wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is what
and also like. they have made it so that, are you familiar with Minthara?
No.
Okay, so Minthara is a drow lady who's a paladin of vengeance who's hanging out with the goblins, right? She's part of that whole thing. And it's been a annoyance for players because the only way to get her as a party member is to kill all the tieflings in the Druid Grove. Like, she is your designated evil party member, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they finally made it so that you don't have to do that. You can actually just not kill her and get her as a party member.
Okay. Because I heard something about new character, but I guess it's not so much new character. It's more like,
no, it's most people are able to now get a character that was there.
Right, more reasonable. Or
you can fix her.
Okay,
you just got to knock her out a little bit.
I mean, that being, I don't know, but like I'm not against the idea of like, this game has so many different things you can do that here's a path you can go down that leads to an exclusive party member.
So,
like, that's kind of cool, admittedly. It's nice to be able to have access to it in a less insane way. But I don't hate the idea of like, no, you can do this, but you got to do this, you know?
Do you know what one of the big reasons for Minthara becoming playable is that people figured out how to do it. So this character only joins up with you if you kill all the tieflings and kill all the druids and help the goblins, right? Mm-hmm. Well, people figured out, well, if you knock this bitch out, but then turn her into a sheep and then speed run to the area in which she is in Act 2, and then break the sheep out of jail.
Oh God!
Right, and then do all this convoluted shit.
Oh my God!
It's called the sheep heist in order to get her. And if you do all this sequence breaking nonsense,
okay,
then the character joins your party normally, and nothing else breaks.
Nothing else.
The game continues as normal. Okay. So people were already doing that nonsense. Okay. So they just codified it.
Now we have to solve the problem. Yeah. Okay, yeah. That makes more sense then. Gotcha. Okay.
And I don't know if you have any more BG3 streams left in you, Wooly, but the biggest change of happiness to everyone is one of the smallest. They have made it so that when you go to camp and you go to your party's inventory, the whole party is right on that screen, including the people not in your active party.
Yay. Yeah. So we didn't run into any of that shit on camera, but off camera I did some foldering and very quickly learned, well, two things. One, playing with the controller versus the mouse and keyboard. The game fucking wants you to use a mouse and keyboard. It's made for that. Yeah. That's just what it is. It's clear. But two, the inventory split across the party shit is just
you can now also, when you highlight an item, you can send it to any party member, including ones back at camp.
Fantastic.
Okay. They also changed how the radial wheel works on controller. Now, when you hit R1, it goes all the way to the left, so you can hit R1 to cycle from left to right. Mm-hmm. And when you hit L1, it goes all the way to the right, so you can hit L1 to circle from right to left. Which means now you can put things on the far left one and the far right one, and they do each other's things.
Nice. Okay.
You can now hold left on the D-pad to switch from range to melee.
Okay. Good quality.
And honor mode has been added to the game. Honor mode is Iron Man mode on Tactician, but it has three things about it that are different. One, so I don't know if you got far enough or into it. There's some weird stuff in BG3, like Paladin and Warlock's extra attacks, like counting. So normally a Paladin Warlock multiclass in D&D should not be able to get 3 attacks per round. But because of the way the system works, Baldur's Gate 3 allows it, right?
Okay.
And there's also a bug that people are using called damage riders, where say you throw a magic missile and it's like 5 hits, and then you have a ring that is like any enemy that gets hit while illuminated gets 2 extra points of damage. Mm-hmm. So now every magic missile hit is times 2.
Yeah.
But the extra 2 points of damage is counting as a source. So if you throw something that goes, it does more damage per hit, the extra 2 also counts as a separate hit. So they all just multiply on each other.
Oh, you break it. Yeah. Okay.
All that shit is now fixed, but only in honor mode. All those busted things in your favor are all fixed in honor mode.
If you want it hard. Yeah. Okay.
Which is Tactician, which is the Tactician difficulty, but Iron Man. And they have given every boss in the game legendary actions from tabletop, which means bosses will be... so the owlbear summons a second owlbear in the middle of the fight.
Okay.
It means if people know who I'm talking about, the Inquisitor at the monastery summons 2 summon swords as the priest spell where they have the magic weapon.
The floating weapon.
They summon 2 of those swords per turn infinitely during the entire fight.
Okay, so that's so the idea, of course, is breaking the game is fun. Let people break the game unless you want to play on the serious, no nonsense, fuck you mode, in which case you can't do that
as anymore. A bonus, if you know how to bust the game wide open, they're throwing you up against bosses, and the bosses go, hey, guess what? Legendary action. You don't know how to deal with this. Full party wipe, save is over. So you can continue playing honor mode with regular saves in non-Iron Man mode, but if you do beat honor mode,
save is over, as in.
So when you go to play honor mode, you have one save file, and it is an auto save file or a quick save, but you have one.
Okay.
Okay, and the instant you full party wipe,
It's gone.
honor mode is over.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Now you can continue.
Fuck.
So you can continue to keep
Permadeath.
playing, but it will disable it will disable all the save conditions.
Interesting. You switch back to normal mode.
Yeah, the harder version of the difficulty.
Fuck
But-
me. Wow, that's cool.
But
Okay.
if you beat honor mode legitimately, you will earn a golden D20 skin for use in the game.
Wow.
A D20
What a
made out
smart
of
way to do
solid
that.
gold.
That's cool. So permadeath, but not really, but like pride permadeath.
But you're doing
Yeah,
it
yeah,
for the
yeah,
fucking-
yeah, yeah. Pride
you're doing it for the
permadeath.
gold D20, man.
You can still continue that save if you want to, but you're not gonna get the thing you wanted.
So
That's
now
cool.
now the game has explorer, balance, tactician, honor mode, but I died and kept going. Honor mode for realsies. And custom mode. Custom mode is do you want player health to be like explorer but enemy aggression to be like tactician? Do you want short
Toggles.
rests to fully heal you? Do you want legendary actions on in balanced mode?
Nice. Yeah, difficulty toggles. Hell yeah.
Yeah, on every version of the toggles they can go.
Wow.
So yeah,
What a fucking
big
good
patch.
update.
Big
What
fuck-
an update.
This would be an expansion, man.
That's insane. Holy shit. Not even but like not new content, just
No, there is
no,
new
right, no, the Citadel stuff, right? But like but the quality of life shit that you going back over everything there, like, yeah, that's incredible stuff. And again,
hey, here's a toggle in custom mode. You want to hear it? Failed perception rolls do not appear. Like if you
so
fail
you
a
don't
perception
even
roll,
know when you
won't
failed
see the thing go
something.
over your head. You'll just go, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Because yeah, those moments are always like, God damn it, fuck, what
All
did we
right.
miss?
They
Yeah.
also bizarrely not in the patch notes. The game has dick physics now. Specifically, dick physics.
Naturally, okay.
They also, what was the last one? There was one more that I wanted. There's so much in this fucking thing.
Pen and paper mode. What's that?
What's that?
Pen and paper mode.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this is like the definitive edition. Okay. So I don't know if you know this, but when the game came out, there was a kerfuffle because if you were playing a tiny character and tried to kiss Karlach, she would kiss the fucking air above your head because they didn't make the rigging right. So then they changed it so that Karlach bends down to give a kiss,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But then in patch 3 or 4, I can't remember which one, they broke Astarion's kiss animation. It went from the love one to the kiss on like the little right. So they are now going back and redoing all the kissing animations for every character, including Astarion having specific animations for gnomes, just gnomes, because he hates them and he's racist to gnomes.
Oh, hell yeah. There you go. So you get a little bit of revulsion perhaps in the
No, he bends he like gets on a knee and he's like, "Oh, come here, tiny person."
I love it. That's great.
It is this like the
Always.
comparison to Mass Effect 3 is so obvious. These would have been DLCs. In fact, they were.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these things would never have gotten fixed. Other things, they would have been $15. No, this is patch 5. Just patch.
That's fucking incredible. I'm reminded of when Alex lands his charged flash chop on roll in Tatsunoko, and he like bends down and just does little child
You
chop.
didn't have to do that.
little child chest chops, just to hit roll in the chest too. Everyone gets chest slapped. Yeah, very good, very good.
It's
What's it called? What's the update called?
patch 5.
Oh, you said patch 5. Yeah, okay.
It's just that. It's
Damn.
literally just like, patch 5's the biggest one so far. Okay? Like,
Me, yeah.
like, do you remember the insane nonsense around the Mass Effect ending and the Fallout 3 ending, where everyone was like, "Oh, it's the worst ending ever. It sucks," and then they're like, "Fine, we'll change it, and you give you $10. Give me $10, I'll give you a better one." Right? For Baldur's Gate 3, people were like, "Oh, it kind of ends a little suddenly. I wish there was more of an epilogue." And they're like, "Okay, get the actors back in the studio. Let's record a couple thousand more lines of dialogue."
Man. And to just call it the latest patch, right? Meanwhile, we're in the same world somewhere else. There's a game called Overwatch 2. You know, for this to just be called a patch, and then, yeah, that's incredible. That's fucking incredible. Wow. And it doesn't, and again, all of this updates, and I don't have to worry about save files.
Yeah. So there is a known freak in the chat right now, who I make fun of constantly, named New Millennium. I don't know if you've seen them in your chat.
Don't think so.
Beaten the game 17 times, or by now. Some shit like that. Just like every time I'd stream the game, I'd be like, how many you done, Will? And he's like, did another Dirge playthrough. I'm like, holy shit. So when this patch happened and I did a stream later that day, I'm like, is New Millennium in here? Can you tell me if your old save files work? And they're like, yeah, I kept all my pre-final boss saves from every run, and they all worked.
Man. Like that early access curse, you know, being defeated in some ways with this type of thing. That's incredible. That's fucking great, man. Okay.
So I those are the big deals, but there are the things are one of the, you know, those patch notes that you click on sometimes, and they're like, we have to host them on our company website.
Yeah.
Because it breaks the Steam page when we try and post the whole update.
You're scrolling forever.
It's just pages and pages and pages and pages of changes and updates and improvements. It's like like I would have said Baldur's Gate 3 was the game of the year 2 weeks ago. And then they do this shit on top of it.
I mean, I was also like, I feel like, I was just talking to Reggie about how, like, we're like, oh yeah, the Phantom Liberty sounds like a really good patch, you know, really good update, new content stuff, and like they did a good job, like, you know, pulling that game up, and apparently it's in like a state now that everyone's enjoying, plus the new shit's really good. That's it. Min's playing through, he was telling me about it, that's it. And like Baldur's Gate is now just entering the foray and doing their own version of it, and that sounds fucking incredible, man. That's kind of, it's unfair because now once again everything has to get compared. You know, everything now has to get compared. Boy. All right, I gotta use the bathroom, so
enjoy your bathroom. I'll also use the bathroom.
Burb. All right, since we're all over the place, let's just take a word from our sponsors now.
I love sponsor. Especially this sponsor.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by Green Chef. It's a chef, and he's green.
I don't think he's literally green.
Yeah, he's green. You can trust green chefs because, you know, when they can... Green means, like, healthy, right? If it's like...
That's what it means now.
If someone's going to tell you about how to get healthy, and one of those people is literally green, I'm like, damn. You must be the healthiest of everybody. I don't want to... All right, look.
How to eat food.
Food is important.
Can I have someone tell me how to eat food?
Yes. Green Chef can help you with that. They're a certified meal kit certified CCOF meal kit company. They have basically all the options you need if you're looking to eat vegan, vegetarian, or keto, paleo, gluten-free, general, more balanced meals. Whatever your diet is, then Green Chef can get you something to your tastes. They've got a wide range. And yeah, the deal is real simple. You're getting fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. You're getting the stuff that's quick and easy to prepare and is also pretty good for you. And as someone who has had a long health journey in which I have discovered, you know, some of the lifelong habits I need to keep up, it's difficult to you know, maintain like the quick and easy usually means unhealthy is basically the deal. So in this case, the fact that you can do this and maintain, you know, good smart choices as well. I'm definitely still paying attention to like my intake, my calories and all that, and being able to order stuff that is going to help you with that and get delivered straight to you with a couple steps is pretty solid. I'm eating way more fish now in general, and
fish are good to eat.
Fish are very good to eat, and they're calorically really like solid as well. They're really low on that, so I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna do this regularly. And they've got sockeye salmon and barramundi and tilapia and all kinds of seafood options available, in addition to turkey and whole fruits, vegetables, eggs, all kinds of whole grain options as well. So yeah, healthy habits, especially during the holidays as they're coming up, are going to, you know, you're going to want to think about it a little bit more. Prepare for the damage that's incoming. You know, I know that the big family dinner is just going to do some damage, so I need to put enough of a health buff on my life bar to tank those hits. And that's where something like Green Chef can come in handy. So, everything you need to eat clean this December. Nourish your body with chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes with clean ingredients, supporting your healthy lifestyle that also taste great. Dinners that are ready in 30 minutes or less, and 35 of the recipes can be made in 25 minutes or less. So 10-minute lunches are on the table as well. A whole bunch of options that are perfect for you. So what you want to do is go to greenchef.com/60superbeast and use code 60superbeast to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. That's a lot. That's greenchef.com/60superbeast, and you use the code 60superbeast, and you'll get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. That's the number one meal kit for eating well. Thank you, Green Chef.
Thanks, Green Chef.
This episode is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Dude.
Mandatory.
I love ExpressVPN.
Mandatory. I'm like regularly these days, I've been just jumping in, popping on for a minute, browse. I've hit a bunch of videos. I've hit a bunch of things where it's like, nope, fuck you, Canada, and I'm like, yeah,
I'm sick of
ExpressVPN,
this.
boop boop boop. I get what I want, and I'm out. It's been legitimately super duper handy. And yeah, for those if you don't know, it's real simple. ExpressVPN is how you can keep your data private, as well as mask your location, keep your ISPs from snooping around. Okay, the holiday flavor here is.
I love these ExpressVPN.
Have you been naughty or nice this year?
Cool.
You might fool Santa, but you can't fool your internet provider. They've seen all your late night naughty searches this year, but you know what?
No.
Your business is yours. That's why this holiday season, gift yourself the gift of privacy with ExpressVPN. There you go. Man, there are many a benefit here. In particular, I like the one that lets me pretend that I'm not where I am and teleport to other locations. But it's also nice to not have data being collected by your ISPs or but potentially even anyone else on the Wi-Fi that you're using.
Yes,
if you're at
doing
school,
that. Don't collect my data.
If you're at work, if you're at your parents' house, who knows? It might not be secure. So ExpressVPN can reroute all your traffic through an encrypted server, so all your browsing activity stays between you and... hold on. Okay. All my traffic gets rerouted through an encrypted server, so all of my browsing activity stays between me and my God. I swear. That's it. That's it. There you go. Right? Verbatim. No one else needs to know. So, yeah, it works on all your devices. Phone, laptop, tablet, whatever. You can always be protected. And it's super easy to use. As I've mentioned, I just tap the button and it's on immediately. So take yourself off the naughty list with the #1 rated VPN. Visit expressvpn.com/superbeast and get 3 extra months for free. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast. expressvpn.com/superbeast. Keep your browsing to yourself and your God. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
I love you, ExpressVPN.
And this week, the podcast is sponsored by Raycon. It is the holiday season. People are trying to figure out what kind of gifts to give each other. How about you give your family the gift of getting wires out of their life? You get all of that, get the dangers out of their life, get them to the future, get them wireless earbuds, and get them the kind that are, going to last a pretty long time. In particular, you've got the everyday earbuds. We've talked about them before. The everyday, indeed, because Punch Mom's using them right now. Regular, you got your multiple. Excuse me, sorry, I got a little lost in the plot right there. You've got multiple different things as well.
I got a little baby. Man. Sometimes you want to put something on your ears and listen to music.
It's good. It's good to be able to put something in your ears. Exactly. And you want that to last hours too.
You sure do.
And beyond the everyday earbuds as well, they've also got a couple of different things. They've introduced Raycon PowerTech and Raycon Home. So there's Magic 180 charging cables for hyperspeed charging to iOS, micro USB, and Type-C devices, rotating 180 degrees, built for durability. They've got a faucet filter, removing 99.9% of contaminants, bacteria, and chemicals in your sink water. Wow, they're getting into that too. Okay. Well, either way, Raycon's known for delivering high quality and thoughtful features at half the price of other premium audio brands. And that's why they've racked up tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. So, yeah, they got an easy and free return guarantee, plus free shipping, and buy now, pay later options as well. So,
Dude,
you know the
buy now,
deal.
pay later sounds great.
Get the wires out. Get to the future. Hurry now to buyraycon.com/superbeast to get 15% off your entire Raycon order. Perfect for last minute gifts or to ring in the new year. That's buyraycon.com/superbeast to get 15% off Raycon products. BUYRAYCON.com/superbeast. Thanks, Raycon.
Love you, Raycon.
Okay. So yeah, I had a bit of a week.
Yeah, what's up with you, man?
Couple things. So what went down? So yeah, I had a little birthday stream, did some
Happy
Super
birthday.
Nintendo. Cheers, thank you. Yeah, did some Super Nintendo games, just some shit that, you know, I enjoy. N64
Love the Super
stuff.
Nintendo.
And found an excuse to pop on some Kirby shit, as you do. Continued in Armored Core 6, and I I had an Armored Core 6 session in which I opened up the back seat. The back seat was an invitational place where everyone could come in and talk to me about builds.
Wooly, I'm not. So, hey, before you start this, I'm not going to name names. But there was a moment this past week when somebody took the task to reach out to me, being like, Wooly won't look at this. Make him look at this comment about the legs. Make him look at the legs. And I'm sitting there and I'm arguing. It's like, I am not going to do that. I'm not going to be your motherfucking backseat messenger.
Oh my god,
Fuck that.
It's incredible. It's incredible. But you know, the further it goes, the more I kind of am like, but of course it is. It's a FromSoft thing, right? Like,
but it's also a mecha doll thing.
It is. But yes, I bet you the message was about how the chicken legs are really good for kicking, and that I should kick more. And yeah,
the thing was that the legs are the most important part. Is that you start with the legs and then everything follows from the legs.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people. I mean, there might be some consensus. There might not be. Everyone will fight and argue, and then we'll arrive at a conclusion. But in the end, I did have a nice. I had a session of just like workshopping backwards, where I said, okay, my end goals are this. I think Gatling guns are cool. I want a build that lets me go full heavy arms with 2 Gatling guns, and then let's figure out how to make that viable with that as my goal, right? And then I said, all right, and we did that, and I got together a build that makes that work. And then I went, all right, now I also think the pile bunker's cool. Let's work on a build that's melee focused, and then start from there and figure it out, you know? And so, yeah, I was, in fact, able to get 2 things, 2 different, variants out that I've saved and you know, by crowdsourcing information and
Bro,
having people like fight each other amongst the comments and chat for a bit, we did get to a conclusion, and I did kind of like set up some Basho armor parts, and we got there, you know? And I learned a lot about some of these stats that I was not clear on. There's some of the stuff, even with the context help menu,
of really important statistics hidden behind that triangle button.
Oh yeah, and even when you pull up the context, sometimes it's still not super clear, and or sometimes it's like there's other benefits that are not even stated, you know? So
also, before we go further, that pile bunker is so incredible that they nerfed the fuck out of it, and it's still easy the best weapon in the game. Like,
incredible. That's super
like
cool.
they hit
It's
it with
so
like
sick.
a 20% nerf, and it's like it's not enough. It's still obviously the best melee weapon.
Yep. And I was learning that like my struggles with it were a lot of that was based on just like I was trying to set up a combo that was not meant to be intended, right? So if I was trying to create like a link where there was not enough time for it, but and I've kind of like figured out as well some of the challenges of like getting a stagger off of a sword and then switching to the bunk. Too inefficient, takes too much time. Building
and the
up
last
stagger
patch actually specifically disabled that combo.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. So like instead, what you want to do is build up stagger, and if you're going to use your sword, use it in advance. Pop stagger with a gun in the other hand while the bunk is already out, and then if you're assault boosting in, you can use that momentum to further carry you and pop that shit, right? So overall, it was a fruitful session. I think the like this is clearly like it does definitely feel like it's like, okay, this is a game where you can be this is kind of like being in the garage trying to learn how to tweak the car, and dad's pointing out what the fucking carburetor does and how to change the oil, and how to work under the hood a little bit. Except instead of dad, it is a insane amorphous blob of screaming voices that are all attacking each other and you at the
like
same time. But every once in a while, amongst the noise, the same word they'll eventually sync up and yell the word yes sometimes together and then go back to
it feels like you're taking fucking tech support from like a man-sized Rat King.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. It's just it's a null-zilla kind of creature, and then every once in a while it can get out no collectively. All the voice bubbles say no, and then go back to just yelling gibberish. But we got there. And I was then able to take that forward into two sequences in particular. One against the worm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, did you like that part in that Evangelion movie? Did you?
I won't miss.
Oh man! I think
Damn,
the genuine like flex on that sequence isn't that they have all the music drop out for the crazy moment and like you're fighting Ramiel on the ground. The thing is that sequence does it 3 times in a row, and all of them are good.
And then he gets no-celled completely by fucking Snail.
Snail's such a piece of fucking shit, dude.
It's just like, what, he did the bare minimum? Like, oh!
Oh, dude, Snail, why are you such a fucking asshole?
Perfect characterization. He doesn't give a fuck. It is, I don't know. Okay, so there's something that happens, and I'm all too aware of it now to a degree that makes me panic when I'm playing games like this and have these moments. When Reggie was playing Mass Effect 1 and Sovereign takes off for the first time, there's a press X or Y to stare at it prompt, and he just completely missed it, and it just took off, and that moment was lost, right?
Yeah.
And, the viewer, as you do in all these games, or as watching any of us play a Souls game, is like, no, the thing it's right there. And it's like, right. And these moments are designed to make most people railroad towards it. But it is true that if the camera does not lock it in, you can miss it, right?
Yeah.
And that has happened to me enough in these in LPs that I've become hyper paranoid about these moments. So
I feel your exact, because when someone, if I look in the corner of my eye and I see all caps from more than one person go, look, I start spinning around like, where
you get
is
scared.
it? What am I missing?
You get scared. Right? Exactly. It's terrifying because you're like, fuck, I didn't know. I'm trying to, I don't, and it's like, but everyone else looks here. Why didn't you? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just making decisions and playing. I don't know. It sucks. It's a shitty situation, and it feels bad when you're in it, and there's nothing you can do, and nobody understands or cares to. So, I felt in that fight, knowing and hearing how the briefing went, that I'm like, that fucking glowing horizon.
Yeah.
That matters, right? Keep your eye on that. And the game's gonna, right? And when the worm goes down and it disappeared, and it's like, oh, this is it. They're counting it down. Internally, I'm not saying it into the mic, but I'm panicking because I'm like, oh no, I don't know where to look. I'm gonna look at the glow and I'm gonna hope that I don't miss the thing, but I know it's going to happen now, and I didn't know where the worm was going to be, and I got really lucky that when it popped back up, I turned towards it and got the perfect frame of the worm getting sniped. But I was so afraid of missing that in frame in that moment, and I can't describe that to anyone else that would understand except you.
So there's a couple things going on in that scene, not for stream people, but for the player. There's a reason why it happens 3 times. It's not just because it's good for gameplay. It's so that the chances of you actually getting the really good look at it is increased. But also, it is a completely barren environment. There is nothing there other than a glow on the horizon and the worm. And there's nothing making noise either. Like the other guys are there and they're kind of pew-pew, but the worm is responsible for like 95% of the noise in that thing. So the idea is that even if you're not looking at it, when it pops out, it has to hit the full arc.
Yes.
So you have 2 seconds to turn and look at the worm. Possibly from the horizon, because it's the only thing to look at in the whole stage.
And and the hope is that if the laser fires there, you follow the line and then you hit it on camera, and it happened to work out. So people are pointing out Radon, right? The asteroid.
Radon's the same way, yeah.
Right?
Where'd he go? Where is he?
And it's such a hype thing, but if you don't know, you might just miss it, and it just So yeah, I'm just so paranoid about those moments now, and I'm really glad that worked out. But just to put it out there, I'm like, oh, this is now a permanent little fear in the back of my head when I'm in the middle.
What if I missed a single cool moment?
Right, when the camera is locked onto a boss, at the very least, as long as I stare at the boss, this should be fine, right?
There's a moment when I was playing Alan Wake 2. Where I walked into like a back alley and like I switched the scene, because that's a mechanic there. You change the context of the scene and flashes out, and then I hear a guy run pop, 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 and jump off a roof and hit the ground and die. And I go, oh my God, I missed it. And then I'm like, that was an audio cue.
Oh.
There was no actual visual
Jesus
to
Christ.
that. It
Okay.
was just the fucking audio.
Yeah.
I'm spinning my head around to see something that isn't there.
Yeah. So, video games, man, they give you the freedom to look where you want and do your thing, and not everything's going to lock you in. Not everything is going to say press X to turn and look over here, or whatever the case is. And, if they do, I get it. If they don't, that's okay too. But, just in this unique situation where, you need to know in advance that don't fucking miss it, or else this moment is ruined for the LP at the very least. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks to have that and at least it happens 3 times in this fight exactly. So you do have the chance to get it again.
I always think back to an interview I read back in 2003 or 4 or whenever it was. No, it would have been 6 or 7, but it was it was an artist on Gears of War 2. And they were being interviewed over a section in Gears of War 2 in which you go into the underground, and this artist had spent tons of time making this gorgeous, bioluminescent mushroom vista.
I remember this. Yes. Yeah.
And they kept play testing it, and players just wouldn't look at it and there were like the team was getting super mad because they spent all this, because it's supposed to be like the underground where the locusts live is not all evil and monsters. There's beauty here, you know, right? And so the solution was to just make it a walk and talk that you couldn't even, like, the path had the fucking thing in front of you as you turn, like you couldn't, you literally couldn't not see it anymore. And that was the only way they could figure out how to do it, is like, fuck it. Put it directly in your line of sight through a doorway. You can't not see it.
Like, moments like this, like, make me understand again why the tunnel vision setup is the way it is, you know? You know, or fucking the Souls games. Well, literally the fucking background in like Irithil, like you get up from the bonfire, you can't miss it.
Yeah, and
right?
then you're on a bridge that sees the vista of the city for like a minute. That happened to me in Alan Wake the other night, where the game really, really, really wants you to watch a short video, but they don't want to hide it on a TV that you could walk past. So they have you in a movie theater in the projector box, and in order to leave the theater, you have to walk all the way down the aisle and turn to leave, which gives you the time to realize something is playing on the movie screen. Maybe you should stay and watch it.
Yeah. God rays as a you know, quick answer to don't miss my art assets, please, is you know, again becoming a just, if it's really obtuse, if it's really obvious and kind of like cynically placed, it'll rip you out of a scene. But I also see people talking about like, the Outer Wilds as a pretty good example of like, oh, you were not looking, you missed the moment, right?
Well, luckily you'll see that moment again.
Fair.
Which is why they get to have the confidence for that. Like the part I'm talking about in Alan Wake is so confident because there's nothing actually stopping you from leaving and not watching the thing they want you to watch. They just keep you in that room long enough to be like, something is happening. But if you don't want to watch it, we understand that asking you to sit down and watch a full episode of television in the middle of the level is kind of a big ask to force you.
So in conclusion, in conclusion, audience, I will let you down again and again. I will continue to miss the moments, you know, as will Reggie, as will all of us. It's just, it's a part of being able to fully control the camera and turn wherever your instincts guide you. Sometimes they guide you the wrong way. But I'm just like, that fucking fear in that moment, you know, was real. That fight was so fucking sick, man. God damn.
The same player control that allowed me to happen upon a single page from American Nightmare being stuck to a subway wall so I could go, see, dumbass, I told you American Nightmare was canon, is the same control that allows me to miss the coolest thing you've ever seen, but not on my show because I didn't see it.
Right. And immediately following this, of course, is like a sequence in which like that pop off is wild, and then I'm like, oh my god, go in. And then, speaking of like just looking at things, my scale for how big the worm is so off that I thought I was next to it, and I started doing my charge burst and then like getting close to like do a melee.
Actually like 100.
Completely whiffed because it's so much bigger than you think it is. You know, like just a complete fucking spatial awareness moment. Insane, you know. So like but that was a fucking highlight. Only to then immediately be followed by the real Raven. You start the mission, get ready for this war. Oh shit, everyone's dead. What's going on? Hey, who the fuck is that? Cool guy with his back turned. Okay. And I'm like, what's the deal with this? And then he's like, I'm going to show you what the actual pile bunker build is supposed to look like.
I really didn't like that mission.
Oh yeah, I had a great time with it because
So
I was trying to bug him and then he bugged me. That
I
noise, ka-tonk.
I ran into a problem on that mission where they built it up and let's see how far you can fly on borrowed wings. Like, ooh, good line.
Good
And
line.
and then the remainder of the mission was 40 seconds long because I stunned him with the shotgun and then got the full bunker on him and the fight was over in like a single strike. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay, come
okay.
at me, I guess.
So I had a build that like I was trying to get in, and I was we were fighting within basically two infighters within range of each other. So
Wait, there's a monologue in that fight?
I mean, there's
I
a
didn't know that.
while the fight's going on, his CEO is like talking mad shit to you, and like one of the
Okay.
sickest parts is like where she says something to the effect of like, yeah, you can keep the name. We just want to see if you're like worthy of carrying it or something to that effect. Like there's a couple really good lines in the middle of it. Um, it was great. It was great. And I was trying to go in hard and got rocked and socked. Then I switched to my my second build, and then I was able to just fucking Gatling gun it from a distance, from mid range, which yeah, it was significantly easier with that build. And then I saw people kind of going like, good that you went in that order because it's less hype if you delete the fight by fighting out from far range, whereas being in, you get to feel it. So very cool.
I'm glad that they tweaked the weapon damage to the point like the shotguns didn't get so much nerfed as all the rifles that needed to get upgraded got upgraded. Like it was very even.
So there's a couple things too, I think, that are like, if you're a veteran of the franchise, you kind of know at this point how to handle these fights and stuff. But I'm still trying to get the hang of, I guess, is like I'm doing a lot of dodging, a lot of boosting around, because I'm trying to constantly not get shot, right? And
Right.
then when I hear the double beeps, I know something big is coming. So then I have to kind of wait and then time that one especially to really get out of the way. But for the most part, I'm spending most of the fight treating my boost as if it were like footsies, in a way, like you're trying to not get peppered by too many of the shot the what too many of what's they're shooting at you. I did see some folks kind of saying that like I'm boosting way too much as a result, and I'm kind of not paying attention to the enemy as a result of that. And I'm kind of wondering, I'm like, are there times where you're supposed to just take the weaker damage from the shots coming at you and then wait to dodge the bigger things?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to not get hit at all,
That's
which is
not
why I'm
that's not feasible.
right. But I'm trying to like get hit as little as possible, which means dodging as much as I can and hopefully not being out of boost by the time
I
something big is coming.
I want to
But
say was it Iron Pineapple? I think he tried to do like a an attempt on parts of the game without getting hit, and while it's technically possible, it was Vati. It was Vati, yeah. Vati tried to do like Balteus without getting hit, and while it's technically possible, you're gonna get fucking hit, right?
okay,
Like,
so right, so this is a similar to like again, it's a FromSoft moment, I suppose, right? Where you play random video game action game, and then you go in swinging at things, you just face fuck whatever, and then you take a hit, it doesn't matter, you go, and then you play Souls, and then it goes, no, you have to stop and pay attention, right? In this case, I'm looking at trying to avoid all incoming damage as much as possible, but is the right approach to actually be like, you're getting peppered by something that's light, so it doesn't matter, you can still take this, just wait for something bigger, and or I guess pay attention to ricochet range, you know? Because I think too as well. It's important to note that like everything everything I've been like challenged with so far in the game, I've managed to beat. Like after a couple
Where
tries,
are
no
you
problem.
exactly?
I think I stopped right after that the Raven mission.
Okay.
So
The next
so
either the
I'm
next
not.
stream or the next one after, you're gonna run into some fucking walls.
Yeah, but that is to say, I think it's important to state as well. I have not hit any wall at all. I've been able to go past everything that is happening.
Yeah, I was exactly in the same position as you. There's a wall coming.
Okay, that's fine. But it's also like when I'm not hitting that, but like there's still like, dude, you're not doing it right. You're not. It's like, okay, then I'm trying to correct for something, but I'm still making it through. I'm still progressing. I've yet to hit a point, I think, where I've had to switch back builds and stuff and take another approach like I did with the Raven there, but I haven't hit anything that I just cannot surpass right now at all, so in other words, like I'm asking about this, but it's also like trying to tighten up something that is not currently impeding my progress. Anyway, it's more just like it's feedback that I didn't fully understand what the thing is supposed to look like, and I guess I also could just go look at like replays or such to see what other people are kind of doing or playing. But I ultimately though, it's like we're still moving. It's fine. I just don't. When there's a wall that presents itself, for sure, I know like that'll.
Apparently, the wall I'm discussing got nerfed, just like Radon did.
Okay.
They gotta stop nerfing these bosses.
Right. Really doesn't realize circle strafing will dodge most normal attacks. Boost is only for the beeps. I'm assuming that bullets and lasers are going to hit me standing there. So
I kind of thought of the general movement as like like playing fucking Doom against the Spider Mastermind. Like just as long as I'm just doing that circle,
keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. Like a lot, like I'm gonna just just keep doing it.
Because in some ways it's like, okay, you beat this Souls boss. You were out of Estus by the time you did. That means you obviously could have learned the pattern better, and you could have been tighter about it, and you could have, whatever, played more perfectly and memorized more and such. In this case, I'm like definitely using all my healing, in each of these fights and such. But I'm like, is there a version of this where it's like, oh, you can completely ace it, and if so, is that like only with a specific perfect build and like a god tier setup that you are coming in with that's exceptional, or can you, in the realm of just knowing how to play with your parts properly, like stomp pretty convincingly through new game? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right. Anyway, good times.
So are you familiar with the replaying the game to get more endings? The game doesn't get hard enough. Cause like, how you struggle through the first time through, and this took a shot, and maybe this boss took me a couple tries, and you get to the end and you have more parts, and then you're rolling into like your second game that, with the knowledge of the first time. There's a couple things that are a little harder, but like you fly through runs 2 and 3.
Okay. All right. Well, in any case, I'm whatever. I'm gonna, do things like use the kick more, try to work a bit more, and play a bit. I think playing offline too and doing some of the arena, I get a more comfortable feel for things. But there's a couple of moments I've hit of like, what do you want from me exactly that I'm trying to learn here? Either way, those are a bunch of incredible moments. And coming off of Balteus into the worm into the Raven fight, it's like this is a fucking, yeah, it's super hype. Very cool. I also played HoloCure, the
Oh my goodness.
the
Looked
fucking
at the
yeah.
Hollow Cure.
I went back now that it's been updated with more stuff to check it out in my whole Bullet Heaven like phase here, and it's one of the really good ones, man, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is.
A lot of the weapons you get have some really unique applications. I love the fusion mechanic that they have as well, similar to the similar to Vampire Survivors. They have a pretty good system here. It's interesting having a super per character.
It is.
It's interesting, but it leads to the main thing, which is like all the stuff you can do and all the characters you can unlock and everything going on here is one of the best of the Bullet Heavens for sure. Super tight. I simply wish I could do the auto lock on one-handed control and not even need to put the super in kind of thing, because like I wouldn't, prior to Vampire Survivors, I wouldn't have been looking to play that kind of game, but
you'd be like, oh, okay, whatever.
It's twin stick. It's fine. I've played twin stick shooters. We've Enter the Gungeon, etc. But I didn't know that that's the type of like brain turn off moment of relaxation that I wanted. And as you brought it up last time, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel it here. Like it's solid. I just wish there was the little toggle you could turn on for that, like you can in Halls of Torment, where you can make it fully twin stick and aim, or you can make it just like auto and go type of thing, which it's a pretty easy feature to throw in there as well, so maybe we'll see it in the future. But that particular thing aside, it's great. It's really, really good. And you do that first level and you're like, oh, this one's really generous with letting you, like, the first level like getting the updated version, playing the first level the first time, I beat it on the first shot. And I was like, oh, right away, huh? Damn, I like got super powered up and was like just crushing that stage easy. And then the second stage was like, fuck you. And I was like, oh, okay. There's a jump here. You got to go actually spend your money. And there's like, because there's so few stages, I guess, there's a solid wall to climb in terms of unlocking between each one. But yeah, solid thumbs up otherwise. Beyond that, just
by the way, before we move on from Bullet Heaven, I should mention the Vampire Survivor stealth dropped a content update while we were talking.
Besides the Among Us one?
Yeah, the Among Us one's in
December 18th.
A couple weeks. Yeah, Adventure Mode dropped today.
Okay. The fuck is that?
Oh, okay. Adventure Mode is where they give you a specific character and specific weapons, and you have to play through like a level. Like a real level,
a progression
and they have storylines.
Oh my god! What the fuck is happening with this game?
That just shadow dropped. Like I got a 50 megabyte update. I was like, what the fuck is that? Incredible. And sure enough, there's a new unlock that says unlock this to unlock base game Adventure Mode.
And I guess that would have to be compatible with co-op as well, right?
Of course it would.
That's fucking sick. Damn, crushing it. What a fucking... I can't believe I'm legitimately excited to see what these little Among Us fucking characters can do. Like, yeah, more Vampire Survivors characters with powers. They can do a lot of
stupid shit.
Hell yeah, super down. Good shit. Well, anyways, though, I'm gonna definitely be playing. I'm gonna keep unlocking some stuff in HoloCure just to see, how far that can go. But I'm gonna. Yeah, I hope they put in a simple lock-on feature. The Killer Instinct Anniversary Edition patch is fantastic. Go check it out.
Yo, what? So I don't know nothing about current Killer Instinct, but wow, Django's fucking Shoryu is nuts now.
Yeah.
That's like an honest to God real Shoryuken in that game. Holy shit.
Bro, I mean, just learning, like, because Keats came by the stream and was just like, because we were, going over little updates, and then, like, Reggie was playing Django, and Keats was like, oh, hey, by the way, you could do this, you could do that, and I was like, fuck me. So, yeah, jump over the fireball or get fake fireball, dash up Shoryu'd, whatever the case. Like, it's really good. A lot of balance patches across the board, but in general, if you are not paying attention to the nitty gritty on it, the point is you can fucking continue to play this. It's online. It's net code is good, and it's just it's nice that it's still around, and they have the ability to actually keep it alive. I feel as if like this type of intent shows like, hey, we're not going to commit to a sequel. We're not going to commit to money that it would cost to make a game that could currently challenge, Tekken 8 or Street Fighter 6. But maybe we'll port this over to the next X-Bone that we drop or something like. We'll just keep it so that you can play it. That's it. Just so that you can play it. But yeah, it was fun to go back to that and play online a bit and experience the open mics that are still there. Even though the Xbox Live Connect mics are gone, the game still by default has open mics on. So if you want to hear everybody talking shit, clicking buttons, you still can.
I might.
And Dragon Ball FighterZ has rollback, and it works. So there you go.
I loaded up Dragon Ball FighterZ and couldn't get into a single fucking match. I played it for like half an hour.
What happened?
Every single time it said, "Hey, a fighter has been found," I would click on it, and it would say, the fighter's preferences don't match you," and then it would cancel the match. And I did that for half an hour, and I'm like, well, there goes my curiosity. Bye.
On public beta?
Yep.
Weird. Did you have a setting that was like...
I would like
limited.
I just the only thing I had on was like
weird, huh? I don't know.
Was I on Wi-Fi? Yeah, I guess I was. Does that game have a Wi-Fi thing?
Oh, were people denying your matches because of Wi-Fi? I don't know. It could be, but I don't remember seeing any setting that even let me distinguish. But if that's what it was, then it's possible. You could try like if you just do a quick test.
No, I don't care anymore. It's done.
Okay.
It had its shot to work and it didn't. So
if you were because I was gonna say like if you try to just wiring in and then seeing if it if that happened again, but okay. Well, understandable filter.
Baldur's
if that's in
Gate
fact what happened.
Gatekeep me, ironically enough.
we can't stand on this side of history.
I can stand wherever I like.
You can't yell at yourself in the past on the other side of the street.
Hey man, I'm a constantly evolving, maturing human being.
Oh my god.
Street Fighter doesn't tell me no.
Oh shit. To yell back through the portal. We don't know if that's actually what happened, but I had a bunch of great matches, and it seemed like it was working out pretty good. And most of the time, it feels like the ArcSys rollback tests are much smoother. SNK struggles, but this is one of the ArcSys ones that it worked. So anyway. That's pretty much it. We're going to be back with some more FF9. I think we're going to be wrapping that up soon. We're approaching that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that final disc, I suppose. And I went to Distant Worlds, which came to town this weekend. And it's funny because, Distant Worlds is great. They're playing FF music. It's a good time. And then they hit that FF9 section. And then, Reggie's partner and Min, and everyone there's like, okay, guys, heads down. You can't look at the song. You can hear it, so song spoilers, but don't look. So we did bury our heads for a part of that night, and but it was interesting too because they then also they played a Shadowbringers song, and then they played The Last Day from Endwalker.
Oh, that's a good song.
It was cool. That was quite cool. Yeah. And seeing stuff happen, I'm like, I don't know who's what or what's going on. So my brain has nothing to attach to but characters and visuals. But that was some good ass shit.
That shit was on repeat in my house for weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it also no, I'm not gonna bother, because the last day is actually like multiple songs in a row.
Okay.
And the question is does it include With Hearts Aligned? But never mind.
I don't know, but it did feel like a lot of songs. It felt like it jumped around. It had different sections to it.
Because it has 3 songs that it jumps between, and then it has a 4th song at the end where the guitar riff starts.
Yeah, I can report that the audience pop off for Soken was louder than the one for Uematsu.
Well, he's been the face of the most popular Final Fantasy for like 10 years now. Or rather the ear. Ha ha ha.
But that was quite a sight to behold, you know, like in terms of volume. Like the screaming got louder at for the Soken moment than it did for the, you know, I was like, wow, at a fucking Distant Worlds, that's crazy. So yeah, no, very cool. FF9 continues, and yeah, we're gonna be watching the Game Awards tomorrow as well. So tune in for that.
Bloodborne! They're gonna Bloodborne this time, right?
Well,
and Silksong.
Here, like,
You'll be there.
Wooly versus on Twitch and on YouTube. The rumor mill has it that a couple of things are going to get announced, right? One,
Earthbound 4.
Oh, my favorite in particular is blurry fucking Nokia camera Elfelt confirmed for Guilty Gear Strive.
That's a good one.
I just like, guys. Like that Elfelt thing popped up and you just click twice. You're like, this is immediately bullshit. Are we still like really? Like
you're gonna you're gonna feel really silly when they announce Elfelt tomorrow.
I feel really dumb when it's Ripper. Yeah. If we do see Elfelt, and if Elfelt does get confirmed, like it will not be the thing that we saw in that artwork there, because it's like, one, the pose of that character is just fucking Bridget pose traced over, essentially. You know, the weird things going on there, and then like you're like, we have not had off-camera Nokia camera leaks with the shitty fucking rotate. Like nothing gets leaked that way anymore. That's gone. That holdover of like bad blurry angle camera in the place I'm standing where nobody saw me take this suspicious photo, nothing gets leaked that way anymore. It hasn't been that way for like 20 years now. And the fact that people still can't tell when that drops.
You don't know that. It could be.
Fighting game shit like was always it would be like that. It would be blurry location test footage, a crowd of people, and you'd see like someone standing next to the machine to get a little bit, but at that point, you know, it was already a public location test, so they weren't really hiding much. But like that style of like, the new character has released, now it's a full-on render that's leaked because they uploaded it to the website from Marvel, and there's all 12 characters coming to Ultimate, and you can grab their JPEGs and just see the full thing right there.
You don't know that. It could be. It could be.
Okay.
People have shit. People who take leaks have shaky hands because they're so excited that they're leaking it.
All right. Well, I'm fully prepared for my ass to be blown the fuck out if this does in fact turn out that this leak was real and such. But it looked very, very fake to me when I first clicked on it and looked at them. There's the third screenshot of like her doing I think it's her 2D attack or so. It is one of the ones that like looks more convincing of the three, and they did say they're going to announce a new Strive character, so we'll see who it is. But there's also a whole thing going on too with like a like whatever leaker like troll artists and stuff making there's stuff going on Twitter that I'm like I don't know the full gist of this, but just doesn't smell too convincing. I don't know. We'll see.
How do you feel about Ed?
I feel Ed's possible. They could drop that tomorrow.
The render that got out of that.
Yeah. That his fingers look really skinny and weird on that render. That could be real. It looks like that could be like ripped from a product page, more so. The fact that it seems like that's like that looks like it was uploaded to Steam or to PSN, and it was like, here's a DLC like page, preview picture that somebody grabbed, which is a convincing thing where I'm like, yeah, that would make sense. That gets updated in the same way that like if someone like I've never seen anyone fake this, but when you see leaks via trophy icons that got leaked, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
That's a very consistent, like, yeah, no one's tried really faking that, but every time that's been pretty consistent because it's like, oh yeah, they updated and trophy icons are now out there showing you or telling you, describing stuff that's not confirmed yet, So this feels more in lines with that as opposed to just like we're doing the Marvel 3 screenshot with Zero and it's like Marvel 3 with like the big fucking red 3 and shit, and it's like, oh my god, man. Like blurry camera to the side. Oh yeah. How do you feel about Virtua Fighter 2 Japanese cabinet possibilities?
I feel like people
Rumors.
I feel like the internet is getting worse and worse and worse at recognizing sarcasm. So Ultima put up a tweet that was like, the new project is Virtua Fighter 2, and it's going to be located in a single Japanese arcade. And if its reception is good, then they'll put it in
inside of Yakuza.
and I retweeted it with like, I can't live like this, right? Or every day is a new agony. And then a bunch of the replies were like, Pat, it's not real. It's a joke. Like, yeah, dumbass. The joke hurts my feelings because Virtua Fighter is dead.
And Virtua Fighter 3 TB arcade to Japan only does exist. So, yeah, it is a franchise. But the thing is, it's not dead. That's why it hurts.
So fucking dead.
But it's alive, held hostage inside another game's body.
No, that's not alive.
It's playable. It's playable inside of another game. It's being held hostage.
Just shut up.
And if
you
it
know
wasn't,
what the worst thing is? The worst part is if Virtua Fighter 6 does show up either to the TGAs or in the near future, it'll be like, it's a new Virtua Fighter, and it'll be everything that I've always wanted, and Wolf will be there, and it'll look really cool, and I'm like, whoa, Virtua Fighter, and then the general response is gonna be like, I don't get it, it looks really boring. I'm like,
right,
no,
yeah.
It does look really boring, you're not wrong, but it low punch, no, you don't understand. Like, I don't know how to.
And this is we're well past, like, there was a saga of, will Virtua Fighter continue to live on as DLC for DOA, right? There was a whole chapter there, and then it became it's inside of Yakuza, and then it got its shot, but then they went with a Blitz racist netcode. So, anyway, something's gonna get announced. We'll see.
Low punch.
Unstoppable.
It's 8 frames. It's really reliable.
Now break this throw that has 8 possibilities.
You don't do that anymore. It's back, forward, and neutral.
Okay, but isn't Go still gonna fuck you up? Isn't his whole deal?
But it's still back, forward, and neutral.
Okay. Well, if I have to do back, forward, and neutral multiple times in a row, I guess it is King though, right? If you go look at the King flow chart, and there's just, you're like, okay, 33%, 50%, and then. Yeah. Nah, man, all you have to do
4 times in a row, guess I'll die.
Guys, all you have to do is pay attention to whether the left hand is above the right or the right hand is above the left.
Shut up. Stop it. It's cool.
Oh God! All right.
Jackie does that backflip, and it's really good. It's a really good backflip.
It's very good. It's does so much fucking damage.
It's like instant. It's crazy.
And then Kenny can yell, "Bitch, I'm wild," and do the body splash.
And Leon doesn't make allowances for old men. He doesn't do it.
See, but I preferred when he didn't make it a habit to fight the elderly. Like, I feel like they corrected the translation on that.
That was so funny. He'd say that, and he'd be fighting like somebody who'd be like 20 years old.
But he also would fight Shun, you know, and
yeah.
Just way back in the days, I don't make it a habit to fight the elderly.
I've tried to find it. Well, I've tried to find it because I've described it. I've described it on stream, and I've described it to Paige, and everyone looks at me like I'm insane. But I want to find the video of the win pose that you can get in Final Showdown for Leon, where he dives to grab a Sheena Inu that's going to get run over by a car in the middle of the ring, and he rolls around with it going, "I'm the winner!" What the fuck is that? It's so nuts!
Peak AM2, peak Sega. Oh, boy.
If you can find that, fucking...
That's great.
Fucking send that to me.
Anyway, yeah, there's all that to rumor to pop up as well.
You know, I just need to stop for a second. I need to talk. You're the only person who'll ever talk to me about this. Virtua Fighter is like, because you know when people are like, why Street Fighter, why this, and it's like, oh, because I like the characters in Street Fighter, they look cool, right? Virtua Fighter is the proof that you should probably spend like a couple minutes on the visual design of your game more than not at all.
Here's what I'm actually curious about. Let's say
Virtua Fighter looks like a fucking VR game made as a training regimen for the fucking US Army. Like,
all bits aside, like if Virtua Fighter were to come back today and they were to announce a VF6 to, like, you know, come out and compete, right? What would you like to see done with gameplay for the modern age? Right?
2 new characters.
Just ignore everything. Keep it the way it always has been, and drop 2.
And I want 2 new characters.
And that's it.
And I want it to be exactly the same.
No system changes.
Nothing.
Nothing to
Final Showdown was incredible.
Zero appeal for the new generation.
No.
Fuck 09ers. Okay.
Make the characters look really sweaty. I don't care.
All right. Okay. How about this? 2 new characters. Everything else stays the exact same as it always was, and only 1,000 people may download the game, and that's the cap. At which point it is removed from the store.
No.
It'll only the first 1,000 people to get the game will be the only ones that will ever have it, and that will be peak forever. There you go. You can't have performance expectations be
I like it the way it is. I don't know how to I don't want it to have fireballs and shit. I want it to be the fighting simulator.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that. It's not a fireball and shit. It's more along the lines of like something like a focus attack or a you know, a neutral skip universal mechanic. But that's not the spirit of Virtua Fighter. That's not the spirit of Virtua Fighter. It's not. I get it. But would they greenlight it, you know? Because when people are sitting there.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Okay. All right. I will, if they make Virtua Fighter 6 and they make a new Virtua Fighter and they have it be a different game and big system change, they should have the low punch go from being 8 frames to being 12 frames.
Okay.
And Like,
No.
people who don't know, but that would actually change the way the game looks dramatically.
And when you get hit by like enough, there's a bar that you build up, and when that bar fills up, you've gotten hit by like, let's say like 5 low punches. Your next low punch is now back to being 6 frames, right? Or so, like you have a slight meter that adjusts the speed of your crouching jab.
They already made like in Final Showdown, they redid all the throws so that they worked on Taka and the small characters so that the throws all look good on everybody. That's cool graphics, but it's not flashy. It's not a fireball or like a fatality.
This is like, you're in the boardroom talking to Sega right now with the flop sweat. How do you convince them? How do you convince them?
Because like, I want it to look boring. That's part of the appeal.
You know, you have everything you ever wanted right here in front of you. The briefcase is on the table. The ink is wet.
I just want
sell
it to
us.
be more. I don't want it to change. I just want more people to like it.
All right. How about a whole bunch of Yakuza characters are now on the roster, and it's basically billed as one of those games? Market it. Something.
No, there are 2 new characters, and they have obscure fighting styles that no one cares about, and they look like generic creative characters, and their names are like Joe and Sam, and you're like, what this character? Who cares? And I'm like, someone will care. Like when Eileen happened, people really liked Eileen.
Let the record show that he thought about it for about 5 seconds. There was a pause. All right. There we are. We'll see what history has to say. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Chat, who's Eileen? She's the Korean girl who uses the monkey style. She wears like a red outfit.
She's the Goku of the game, or the Sansan.
She is the Goku, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's cool. I like
Wooly,
her.
do you remember when Go showed up in VF4 and he was like a guy who had a piercing and like his skin was a little ashy, and people went, "Whoa, who's this zombie in Virtua Fighter?"
It's the anti-Akira. Yeah, it's the fucking the dark Akira has arrived.
Like, he's just a guy with a
just
fucking
a little
eyebrow piercing.
Goth judo man. Dark Akira, yeah. But it's also a game with Dural, so you know. Anyways, all right.
Plays Dural, and nobody plays the single player, so no one knows Dural. Also, hey, right. I know it's slightly off topic. Wooly, are you familiar with Panera Lemonade?
No.
Okay, so Panera is a bread company.
Yeah.
And their lemonade has, over the past couple of months, killed 2 people.
What?
Yeah. So it's called. Oh, what the fuck is the name of the fucking? It's called Charged Lemonade.
I heard about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
A single 30-ounce thing of Charged Lemonade, which is like safe and plant-based good lemonade for a little pep, has 390 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Yeah, it does. Okay, 2 people. I heard about the one. I heard there was a girl.
Yeah, a guy in Florida just died drinking it.
Okay. Because the one I heard about was like a girl drank it, but she had some prior conditions that were heart
same thing
related.
with this guy. But the reason why they decided to drink this Charged Lemonade is that they didn't know that it had... How much caffeine does this monster can have? I think it has 100... This can of Monster has 140 milligrams of caffeine.
This guru has 142.
That lemonade is as if I drank 3 cans of Monster in a row. And it was like, delicious lemonade.
Hey, man, never forget that Four Loko had to get patched.
I do remember that.
Like if
So yeah,
if the American
are dying
drug
from
market,
these lemonades because they're being told that it's just lemonade, and then they're drinking it, and they're basically doing cocaine, and they have existing heart problems, and then their heart just explodes.
thank you, Panera Bread. I heard Panera is pretty good.
I want to try the lemonade.
There you go. Pat, were you aware? Did you know?
Whatever this is going to be, I fucking hate it.
Did I turn on the bit voice too strong?
Yeah, you really did. Okay, because you actually, Wooly, this is. I don't know if you notice this. You actually incredibly rarely say my own name to me. So when you say Pat and then pause, I know a bunch of bullshit is coming down.
Oh, God damn it. All right. Well, I wanted to bring to your attention something that you might not be aware of. Did you know? Did you know
whatever it is
that black people live in Florida?
You know what? I was also aware that there may be 1 or 2 Hispanic people that live in Miami.
Perhaps more than that. Actually, there might be a lot more than that. It's kind of wild. Crazy shit. So, if a trailer were to show that and all, it might shock and upset some people. They might begin to maud at seeing the existence of black people in the video game. It's kind of wild. I don't know.
Are you talking about that Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer?
Boy, oh boy. Am I ever.
I was watching that kerfuffle happen. I think there's a famous or controversial tweet of like, it's all just so tiresome. The woke mob got to GTA, blah 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 blah. Right? And there's screenshots of like a beach, and like most of the people on the beach are like black or tan, right? And I'm just sitting here going like, if you live in Miami and you're white and you don't have my complexion, you're gonna be at least 10. Like, no one in Miami looks like me.
Dude, like...
Even white people.
So, I saw that, and I expected to see some screenshots of, like, okay, here comes, like, here's the thugs, and here's the strip club, and the twerking, whatever the fuck they go off about. And then some of them are just black people just standing around existing. And it's like...
The truest crime. Really.
just standing there, just being a person in the world, and dudes are like, "Ooh!"
Can't stand it. Can't do it.
It's kind of incredible. I only saw that after I watched the trailer. We watched the trailer. I was like, "Oh, this looks like a pretty game. That's cool." Hey, look at all this Florida authenticity. Because it's like 1-to-1. There's that alligator moment. There's other alligator moment. There's that crazy lady. There's that other crazy lady.
There's that other crazy guy. Florida's wild.
Exactly. All of those Florida man moments coming together and throwing, and then all the Floridians being like, "Yep, checks out, represented. That's us." Only to then fucking like open up the fucking just. The nightmare that is like motherfuckers just raging over like, oh my god, GTA has
I don't want to
black
sound controversial here to somebody who is upset at seeing the people of color in the Grand Theft Auto 6, but I'm just saying like a black man can steal your car too. It's
Dude,
equal opportunity.
That's crazy.
Anyone can steal your car.
I bought this game specifically so that I could see crimes committed for white
By
people
whites.
by white people.
Where's my white on white crime, sir?
God damn it! I bought this for one thing and one thing only. You know?
And now they have the audacity to say women can commit crimes too?
You know, it's not, and this is completely consistent with all my other opinions about white crime in media, for sure. I have nothing else to say on the matter at all whatsoever, but god damn it, where's my white on white crime? Oh my god, yeah, wow. It's anyway, so hey, I think that was a pretty trailer. I would love to see some gameplay. Yeah, I imagine that the social media they showed off there is actually a functioning real social media app that you're going to use to like post shit that other players can see. Like, it's not Spider-Man fake, you know, like, oh, check out fake Twitter or whatever. Like, I bet you a big part of this, especially with the whole role-playing culture, is that they invested in having a real functioning social media app.
I have to say, though, there is something that I've seen people point out, which is going to be really obvious, particularly in our hyperspeed social media landscape. Every joke in this game is going to be 5 years old, at least.
6, right?
Yeah, well, I'm accommodating, like, you know, some updates, right? But, like, yeah, no, it's all going to be, like, wildly out of date. Like, hilariously out of date.
Yeah. And, I guess, like... But is it ever really out of date when it's Florida? You know?
That's kind of the genius here. Because Florida's just...
It's forever.
What's up with
that? Alligator is always going to need to get pulled out of that pool. Like, it's going to happen again next week. Same time.
What's up with Florida?
It's like... It's the mini Australia zone for America, right? It's the aggro territory. It's where you go to level up. You know, the olds go down there, and those who are trying to grind extra XP can go and you know take on enemies that scale with you. Yeah, we'll see.
Is Florida Man the Dango of his ecosystem?
I think Florida. No, I think Florida Man is more just like it's a spirit, you know. it's in the air. It's kind of like insight. You can gain it. It can increase, or it can decrease with, you know. And when it does eventually pop, when you gain eyes on the inside, you bath salts Hulk out, or you Joker tattoo yourself, or you know what I mean? You tell the nearest gator to go fuck off. You call the gator a bitch and then jump towards it. Something's gonna happen,
dead, right?
Absolutely super dead.
Oh yeah, good.
Instantaneously.
I mean, sad, but also
But like, there's a bar that builds up, and then when it maxes out, a Florida event has to happen. You can't stop it. Do you want to talk about Dark Urge, right? A Florida event will go down. You need to mitigate with small Florida events to keep that bar from maxing out, and then you can't control the outcomes.
So, like, maybe I'm horribly... You know what? This is good, because you're also horribly out of touch. So, like, everyone... Like,
some say
GTA
out of time.
6 is the... What?
Some say out of time.
Oh. Are you a time traveler?
You're out of touch and I'm out of time.
Okay.
Anyway, go
on. GTA 6 is the biggest fucking trailer announcement ever. Oh my God, billions of views. Everyone's so excited. And I'm sitting here going like, I can't wait to just play a mission with the shittiest fucking controls I've ever used in a game ever in my life.
That bad? Isn't it just generic like third-person shooter?
No, it's not. No, it's not. And this is what I mean when I say you are also horribly out of touch. Cause like, bro, those games control like shit.
Okay. Well, I guess I should clarify too, because I said when I was watching it before, I went like, oh yeah, I haven't really played any of these, and like I people went like, you've never played a single GTA game, and I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. I meant of the new ones. I did play.
You probably played Vice City at somebody's house even. At least.
I played original GTA 3 and well, GTA 1 way back in the day, and then
that
some
also
of 2,
doesn't count. That's a whole different thing too.
And then 3. So it was of the newer ones I haven't. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, it's where they decided that animation priority was much more important than anything feeling good.
So, you know, I mean, my recollection, even going like back to 3, was that like, yeah, shit was like janky at the time, but I just assumed that I'm like, well, they must just feel like normal third-person shooters at this point once you pull a gun out. But what's happening?
No. So, to their credit, they definitely feel like a completely unique game into themselves. Nothing feels like GTA 4 or 5 or Red Dead 2.
Is it old or different?
It is the adoration of the you're familiar with this, the Euphoria physics engine, which was once used in Star Force, Star Unleashed, Star Killer Man.
Star Killer Man.
In which the character's running and movement is controlled by the physics animations. And it feels really slow and bad all the time. I would blow 40 minutes complaining about this on the podcast, but instead I will just comment to go watch Nakey Jakey's video, The Man on the Yoga Ball, about Rockstar's game design being outdated. Okay.
But
he
just
codified every complaint I ever had into a much smarter, more well-produced video, and those games just feel like shit.
Ragdolling and IK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The control, it feels like shit.
Even in
the
latest
only thing
ones,
that feels natural in those games is driving a car, ironically enough. But like playing on foot, you feel like a much less responsive car.
At the same time, it's Grand Theft fucking Auto. It is video games. It can't be.
I disagree with that statement a lot. Really? Yeah. GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas were incredible. But 4 was not the San Andreas.
Well,
5 was a fucking. I don't have time to this. I very much do not like the modern GTAs.
No, I'm just saying, like, as these quintuple A projects, I'm surprised that like what you're describing is a deliberate decision. There's nothing.
It's extremely
right. There's
deliberate.
nothing here that is like, oh, they just didn't like. No. It's all very much designed and clearly reviewed to be this way by a million.
I'm being informed that
committee.
It will make sense to you if I tell you that you have to mash the A button to sprint despite having limited stamina, which is true and feels like shit.
Okay.
So here's the thing: Saints Row came out, and the difference between Saints Row and GTA is that GTA had money, but Saints Row controlled like a fucking game that you wanted to play.
Okay. I remember, so like that Sleeping Dogs I felt was also fine.
Sleeping Dogs is way better than fucking
Yeah. So like I'm not I don't remember, I don't think I've heard this like I don't remember. I don't
Hey,
recall.
you got somebody
hearing
who
this
can bring over a
before.
copy of fucking Red Dead or GTA 5 and just
Interesting.
like spin the fucking dude in a circle, you'll know what I mean.
So does it make it just like unpleasant the entire time going through it?
Yeah, to me, yeah.
To you, yeah. Okay. And Red Dead doesn't have this.
Oh, Red Dead's even worse. Each game they put out is more sluggish to control because it's more obsessed with realism.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
I'd have to touch it. I might disagree, but I'd have to see exactly what you're describing. Yeah.
So the other thing that I don't like of the new ones, and I've tested this out on numerous streams to try and explain, the Grand Theft Auto like 3 and Vice City and San Andreas and like most of the Saints Row, it's like you would do a mission and you would just do the mission. Whereas when I was playing GTA 5 or Red Dead 2, I was given the impression that my job was not to play the game, it was to be the actor that the director of the game was directing to play the role that they wanted me to play, and that if I stood in the wrong spot or tried to do something interesting, that a hand would come out from the heavens and slap me and go, no, that's not how the scene's supposed to go. You're doing it wrong. Start over.
Okay. I get the vibe you're describing. Yeah. So then it really is just about the flavor.
Yeah.
Of the moment, and everything I see about it is definitely like it's all flavor, being presented there. But I just assumed that it was like, oh yeah, they've got cash, they're gonna make it so that there's a whole in-depth shooting system. I'm sure that's fine, or driving is gonna be fine.
It does have an in-depth shooting system. I just don't think it feels any good.
Interesting. Okay,
bro, I gotta piss so bad. Can we have a 5-minute break?
Well, yeah. Gameplay trailer hopefully soon. BRB.
Piss. You know what? Now that we're back, when I was pissing, I figured out exactly how I want to phrase my issue, which is, when you're playing, like, I'll use Alan Wake, but also Baldur's Gate 3, and you're playing it and you're constantly overwhelmed by the developer's love of, we are making a goddamn video game. Look at this video game shit you can do. Look at this stuff you can do because it's a video game. Why I love this medium, yada yada, right? When you're playing a GTA 5 or a Red Dead 2 mission, it feels like the people making it are annoyed they even have to let you play it at all. And that they would rather just have the entire thing be their little movie.
Interesting. So like with games like whenever a game is particularly expensive enough, with something like Tsushima or Last of Us, right? There's always that bit of like there's still going to be a game here. It'll be pretty easy for anyone to pick it up and grab it. And like, there will be a focus so that by the time you're done, by the time you hit the end of the game, there's going to be enough, or God of War as well, right? There's going to be more than enough to like cycle through to have a fun experience with the different combat things it's asking of you. But like, if you just wanted to like easy way your way through the game, there's a method that is not challenging that you can take, right? And like, I thought that like Red Dead especially would be like leaning into having a lot of different like shooter things because it's a cowboy game. So
there is more depth to cooking your own food than there is to shooting guns in that game.
And that's wild. I expected the shooting would be some of the most sophisticated just based on the premise of what it is, you know? Huh. Like,
you'd think.
You'd think. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, it's also not the thing that like of anything that is a again quadruple A, you know, or quintuple A, you know, sized project is. You also hit a point too, I suppose, where you're not the people crying out for making the gameplay work better are a minimal voice compared to like, just, you know, does it shiny? Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
you know, I can strip club, I can steal car, I can roleplay.
I think it's really brave that Rockstar is willing to make the best-selling video game in the world be a really bad video game, because they want to make a bunch of Hollywood movies while simultaneously ripping off a bunch of Hollywood movies.
Interesting. Also, I think, well, I mean, beyond that, I didn't mention it earlier, but Bonnie and Clyde, like, theme system thing could be a fun storytelling mechanic. I always kind of go, whenever I hear or see something like that, I always go like, man, it would be cool to be able to like co-op your way through a story or whatever like that.
Cool.
And then I just...
luckily we've got GTA Online for you, fucker.
And then, well, I was going to say, and then my brain goes back to, man, we never got Faith in a 45, the original Bonnie and Clyde shooter that got canceled forever.
I'm really excited for them to do a couple of interviews where they tell us what movies they watched right before writing the game, so you can go just watch those movies instead.
Or TikToks, for that matter. Of
Florida,
do
you remember when
happening.
Vice City was coming out? Like, that whole game was like, did you fucking see Scarface? Like, no, actually, at the time I had not. And then after I played Vice City, I saw Scarface. And I was like, holy shit. Okay, I guess I should have just watched Scarface.
And and Miami Vice, right? And I think,
like San Andreas comes out and is like, did you see Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society?
Juice, etc. Yeah. Okay. And then yeah, I guess only other thing there. So just teaser to the teaser, but Dreadwolf footage via a environment teaser to say that next year they're going to show off a trailer with content.
This has big like energy of like this teaser trailer that proves that the game is not in development hell. Answers your questions, please.
Dragon Age is not canceled.
And I'm like, this looks like it's in super dev hell.
Dragon Age is happening. Here's a trailer to announce that we will be showing you a trailer next year.
Sure. Whatever you say. By the way, Dragon's Dogma's coming out on March 24th.
Please quarterly call attendees look at this trailer to the trailer and don't get upset.
It's definitely going to come out.
As someone who is, standing just outside of this game, hearing about all the interesting things they do in comparison to Mass Effect and KOTOR and stuff, I'm officially ruined in advance because the teaser today was called Thaddeus Calls.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm
dude.
just like, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that being the name of the place and knowing why in advance is ruined forever. It always sounds stupid. It always sounds stupid.
It does. It does. Oh, by the way, I need to go into Dragon's Dogma a little bit. There was they did their little preview event and it's coming out on March 24th, but there's something really funny hidden in that announcement where they ask, like, they do like a fake Q&A, right? And they're like, "Oh, well, I need to play the first one." It's like,
how excited should I be?
Dragon's Dogma 2 may look very familiar to Dragon's Dogma players, but it takes place in a parallel world. So it's actually a completely different story. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is the Evil Dead 2 of video games.
Oh, yeah?
Like when they're standing there and they're saying it's 4 times the size of Dragon's Dogma 1. I'm like, wait, Dragon's Dogma 1? The game got cut in half and then got cut in half again? So it was a quarter of the size of what it was supposed to be? And like the same characters and same voice actors are in Dragon's Dogma 2, but you've called them different names. And so it's
fuck it. We do it
parallel.
again. We just do it again.
We're just going to do it again.
That's pretty funny. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It is the first redo of a video game I can think of. Not a remake or a remaster, just a redo.
And as an avid Dragon's Dogma fan, do you have a problem with that?
I do not.
Okay, then.
That is what I would like, please.
Apparently, info of note for the Dragon Age teaser is that it mentions countries that were not just the one empire they mentioned before.
That's right.
It'll include
You're going to go
locations.
all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that for a second, but okay. I'm at the point with BioWare that I would be like shocked if they ever put out another game ever again.
Well, sometimes not putting out things takes courage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sometimes you need to be really brave to take someone's shit and just throw it right in the trash.
It takes courage to throw it in the dumpster, guys. Never forget. So if you want some insight into the mind, all right, we got an update on that whole Coyote versus Acme sort of situation. We talked about where WB was just dumping movies in the garbage after completion for tax write-off purposes, of course. And so the CEO of Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, came out in an interview recently and said that scrapping films for tax write-offs takes courage, actually. The mentality is what content is going to help us win. The content that wasn't, we made a strategic decision on, and it was difficult and painful, but necessary. Right?
Well, if it was necessary, how come you're undoing it?
And how come, again, the feedback was generally positive around that? Because you see, if it was just Batgirl, right? That's the thing with it. I remember when the story was like when that was one of the first ones, and it was like the idea that a bad movie gets shelved because it sucks. They watched it and go, "Oh, this is terrible."
That happens.
That does occur, and that is something that can happen if the final product is like nobody associated even wants to be a part of this or whatever. So, it's not to say that doesn't exist and within studios. But then when it happens again and again on different projects, including something that is generally a good movie / people are more or less happy and fine with it, and people that work on it are upset to hear that is not coming out, as opposed to trying to distance themselves from the project, which a lot of people do if they're not happy with the thing they made.
And people, hey man, like, whatever.
You don't get that
This is the
benefit of the
same
doubt.
company
So
that
this
decided to
fucking
throw hundreds of millions of dollars after The Flash in marketing and release. Because if it was like, oh, bad movies get canceled, man, like, the fuck
you want to talk about courage?
$250 million on a shitty movie starring corpses, with the main man being an on-the-run fugitive.
What about the courage to stand and take bullets in front of Ezra Miller? To create a force field and, like Reinhardt, walk him to the point. You know, what about that courage?
That's
dude?
real bravery, man.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. No, it takes courage to fucking just trash and dunk this shit in and get that tax money back. You know, Uwe Boll is a brave man. It took courage, guys. Just it's I love these things because it's just like in case you want to get a little bit of insight into what they do inside their brains to make it make sense. You know, I always want to see that. I want to peel it open a little bit and see, like, what is your internal justification for this terrible decision you're making? Oh, okay, cool. That's how you spin the world. Got it.
So you know what my favorite part is? It's not that, though that's pretty good. My favorite part is the one layer removed where, like, a thinking person would believe that, but then they would have the secondary thought, which is, yes, I do believe that, but I shouldn't say that out loud with my mouth. So the part that always gets me is not a rich out of touch piece of shit says rich out of touch piece of shit thing. It's rich out of touch piece of shit guy is so out of touch he can't even fucking see it anymore. And thinks when he go, you know, it's hard. It takes a lot of courage, and expects people to go, you know what? Yeah, you're right. That was very brave.
Like the concept of needing a mask is so far gone already that it's not about going mask off, because I can't fathom the need for one. Right? Yeah. Okay. Well, just. Shout outs to fucking WB on that. That's good shit. That's good insight. And while we're at it, real quick, I don't know what it means, but it's always nice when out of nowhere Casey Edwards is like, "Hey yo, what if I made some more Devil May Cry music officially?"
Seriously?
And everyone's like, what? Yeah. Just random, out of nowhere tweet. The only thing officially happening Devil May Cry wise that's been announced is the anime. So maybe it's that. But yeah. Fucking yes. Forever. Please. Absolutely. Goddamn incredible. You know? I love that, like, for all time, like, you've had these anthems for the game, and, like, the most recent one has, like, just these definitive tracks that are, like, the character, you know?
What's that gentleman's name again?
Casey Edwards?
Casey Edwards. Why did not just did he do, why am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something else.
Okay. Composed. Bury the Light and you know, all the other.
No,
well,
there's
not
something.
and...
I'll get to it eventually. 10, 15 minutes from now.
Okay. Well, in any case, that's fine. I would like to see more, and I hope that it is for the anime. Or, you know what? Actually, rephrase, I hope it's not for the anime.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that would be a
yeah.
massive fuck up, wouldn't it? Just oops. Again, leaked it out.
I hope it's for something that is not in fact the anime. Let's take some
It's
letters.
crazy how far ahead of DMC5's announcement it got fucking leaked out by fucking Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Like just 4 years?
New music confirmed for Pinnacle of Combat.
Damn it.
New straight to your phone.
Damn it.
All right. If you've got
Apparently
a letter,
that
you can
game
send it.
sucks, dude.
I've been keeping my eye. I've been hoping, there's a multiplayer and shit, and I'm like, anyway.
Well, luckily they're going to announce DMC6 at the VGAs tomorrow.
Hard confirmed.
Sorry, the TG fucking I don't know what the name of it. Whatever.
If you got a letter, If you got a letter, you can send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Got any good letters this week?
All right, here's one. George asks, "Dear birthday boy and birthed a boy."
I gave birth to my son. It was very difficult.
Which do you generally prefer when playing a new game for the first time? The first handful of hours where every experience is new and the possibilities seem endless? Or the last handful of hours where the boundaries are apparent, but you've learned exactly how to exploit and master them?
I mean, that depends on a game-by-game basis. Because
It does.
the general thing for me is whether or not the transition between those two things results in elation or disappointment.
A lot of games start out with a lot of potential, but then you realize they're kind of front-ending a vertical slice at you, only to then open up into we're out of time and we're just going to rush a nothing moment in the middle, and then a cutscene drops towards the end and you call it a day.
And some games you get like Vanquish, where the fucking game is like, this is what the fucking game is. We're going to do 5 missions of this. And you're like, okay, good.
But not everything builds up to a comprehensive, all the abilities you have are meant to work together for this end specific purpose. Sometimes it's narratively things are exciting and happening, but it's not reflecting that in gameplay necessarily. So it's every time you talk, so Vanquish is a clear-cut case of the end is what matters. Same for Zone of the Enders, right? It's the state you like you're racing towards the finish, and your full abilities are what matter there.
You know what's a really good game that fits both of these extremely positive? It's Armored Core.
Mm-hmm.
Armored Core starts out, you're like, man, I'm getting, the first couple of missions when you're starting to get new types of parts. And you're like, oh man, I could do all sorts of zany shit. But by the time where you're at now, Wooly, you're kind of gotten into the rhythm of what kind of stuff you're gonna get, and you're starting to optimize it, and you're starting to focus on piloting. And the rest of the game is gonna be an optimization of just becoming a bigger genius.
Yeah. If it's a clear, if something is set like that in place, where it's this is what the challenge is, and here's how you surmount it, and here's how you can exploit it, and here's the system that you're going to be playing around, and that's an enjoyable mechanic or a main thing, then yeah, absolutely, it's going to be about the finale. But if that thing sucks or is actually not at all that interesting, or if you just can or if it's just it's never a challenge. It never really gets harder. It's the music just gets louder. You know what I mean?
Alan Wake 2 is very adequately described by what you just said.
Okay, yeah.
It's not getting any harder, but the music is getting a lot louder.
Then of course it's not going to be that,
I think the more that I think about it, I think Baldur's Gate 3 has a very specific place on this question, because when you start that game and it feels endlessly open, you're actually stupid and you can't even see how open it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like most games, particularly RPGs, are a pyramid. It starts wide at the bottom, right? And then as you get further and further and further and further, as you approach the ending, stuff starts to fall off at the sides until you reach the ultimate conclusion. And Baldur's Gate 3 is the only game I can think of in its overall structure is an inverted pyramid where the beginning starts a little narrow and then it just each act is getting wider in its scope, because usually, like, you think about Mass Effect, and Mass Effect is a diamond, right? Mass Effect gets its widest at the middle, and then it forces it back into a diamond at the end. Everything, all roads have to lead here. BG3, like, I got to Act 3, and I was, like, near sick to my stomach with big, very big.
I think
You know what? BG3 is an hourglass. That's a much better way to phrase it.
Oh, okay. Starts big, tightens up, and then reopens up.
Yeah, Act 2 is very tight, and then Act
Okay.
3 is another big hourglass.
Interesting. That's cool. I feel that, like, and to some degree this has been affected by, you know, a decade of LPing, but I think that
Yeah.
as someone, I think I often I'm almost in a race against the game's openness to understand where the limits are, because there must be. And then once I know what those limits are, I can start to engage with the game on its own terms, because you know, playing again for yourself, you experiment, you try shit out, you might uncover something, you know, you might never discover something, etc. Playing with a lot of people right there weighing in, you're trying to understand you're trying to understand what it's supposed to be communicating, and or pick up on things that are not being communicated at all. And in a lot of cases, there's things where you something about the system that has not been explained or clued in, but you still do need to know it in order to play the game properly or better. So you're playing it for the first time, but you also want to, like, play not even optimally, but just like you want to get the system and be able to be competent at it and play on a trajectory that is, by the time you get midway towards the end, you're playing good. That's the goal with the Let's.
You know what game sums that the way you just described it up perfectly? Was FF16. For 16, I very much enjoyed that first 30% where I'm like, oh man, I'm learning how to do things. How's it going to work? More than the last couple where I'm like, I'm straining up against the walls of the system and doing everything because it let me do too much.
At the same time, though, depending on what the game's goals are, like someone like me, I'm going to also be like, so I'm playing Silent Hill for the first time, and I'm like, okay, I need to get away from the scary thing. And to some degree, especially based on its age, the game's asking you to just don't think too hard about it. Just kind of panic your way to the next progression point, right? And do what you can with what you can figure out of the weapons and things you've picked up. But don't just go. Just try to live, you know? And I'm like, okay, I do have a backstep. It is the thing that is there. Like, do footsteps matter? Does light matter? Does vision cone matter? You know, I talk about this every time I talk about stealth games, and it's like, what does this game consider hidden? Do I need to be crouched? Yeah. Do I need to be in the sunlight or in the shadow? Do I have to make a sound? If I tilt the stick to the full degree versus half tilt on analog, do I have to move at full speed? Is it about just being within the vision cone in front of the enemy, and that's the only thing that matters? What about elevation? If I'm above somebody, can they see me? There's so many questions about whether an enemy can see you or not in a stealth game that it becomes a route checklist of this game features daylight, this game features sound, this game features vision cones.
Bro, there is a fucking upgrade you can get while you play as Alan in Alan Wake that is like enemies are less likely to notice Alan, and there's like no indication of light, darkness, vision cones, enemy proximity, light reactivity, nothing. It's
Right.
just like they're less likely to notice him. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Was that like 5 feet? Was it like 10 feet? I don't know.
Right. And in a world where nobody's watching me and I'm playing alone, I'm playing Snake Eater and I'm trying to figure out how to fight the end, crawling through this jungle, assuming that all things real are possible here and that I can get sniped no matter what, you know? But in a world where there is a fucking audience watching, you can't do that. So then it's like, okay, I have to just push it to see where the limits are and find out that, oh, actually running versus walking slow doesn't matter. The game doesn't care. Okay, great. Well, then we're going to do this. And, because you just, yeah, to some degree, time is of the essence too. So it forces me to kind of like find those rules in the closed system and then turn it back into a limited video game and then try to exploit those rules as much as possible towards the end.
So if the game is good, it tends to be the back half when I'm more comfortable in the system. If the game is less good, it tends to be the beginning before
Correct.
I hit those walls. Like we just mentioned Devil May Cry. Like once you and I had gotten to the end of the campaign and we're like fucking around with Nero's buttons and Dante's shit, and we're like feeling the walls of the system and seeing how far you can go in what direction, it's like, okay, now it's time to start playing the game. Right? And that's like the best part of a Devil May Cry game is starting the new game on the harder difficulty with all your moves unlocked.
The
But that's
interesting
kind of
thing,
unique.
the interesting thing about like me being like, oh, I have to lab. Wooly will never leave the lab, and it's like, yeah, I've learned to enjoy that process of discovering what the game's rules are and learning how to break them or exploit them or just at the very least use them efficiently. But
If you want to sound smart, you can call yourself a mechanical scientist.
But what's not stated in that is if I don't lab, I suck and I'm garbage and I'm annoying to watch and I don't know what to do and I'm just going to take guesses and hope that they work and I'm not going to be able to improvise under pressure to do anything slightly resembling an interesting or entertaining thing to watch. I legitimately have to start understanding in order to do anything competent at any point. If I just improvise my way through all of it, it's gonna be awful because that's my weakness. That's something that I'm aware of. I'm bad at doing, So it's not. I've attached to some degree that the labbing part to something that I enjoy as something I enjoy, but it's not just that I enjoy it. It's also mandatory for me to be able to fucking get anywhere or accomplish anything. I just can't. I'm not going to improvise in a way that anyone will, again, find interesting or even get. Just like, you're nuts. I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't know. And if I explain why I tried or what I tried, it's not going to make it any better. So it's become mandatory while also being the thing that I enjoy. Anyway. Let's take one from Surge.exe says, Dear Lords of the Superb East.
Oh, hey, Surge. How you doing, man?
Frequently, you both reference the Kickstarter board game where the creator was told by the son to stop making it.
We do. We fucking do. I love that shit.
Did you know that game, Catalika was actually finished and released after many delays and more posts detailing the creator's worsening mental condition. It was eventually done. Now, only about 40-ish copies were ever received by backers, and the creator has since vanished from the internet without a trace.
Well,
the game The game is apparently kind of a mess and not that great to play, but the value is sky high because of the low amount of copies. Thought you'd like to know.
I'm glad the Sun allowed the release.
But of course, the finale is, in the end, not even that great. It's kind of mid.
Yeah.
After all of this fuss.
I remember like scream laughing with you in the van between the fucking Toronto shit airport to Hamilton is when we were finding out about the sun stopping you from fucking
Was that where? Yeah, I
releasing that
forget.
game. Yeah, it was in
God
that
damn.
weird blue van with the lighting on the side.
Okay. I mean, just it's the petering out of the fucking balloon at the end, the flaccid deflate that is. It came out, it was mid, and
Came
only
out and
40
sucked.
people got it.
Oh,
God damn. Perfect ending. All right. And lastly, we got one in from Clay. Hello, blank and blank. Think up your own funny names. As an American, we have a crap ton of tales about outlaws and gangsters. Does Canada have
That's
any
true.
famous ones you guys know of that Americans might want to learn about? No respect, but much love, from Clay.
nah, not really.
This, I'd say there's one. There's one. There's one really important one that I think is very loud and clear and important that Americans should know if they have not heard of the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist.
That is a good one.
The Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist, or otherwise, or in French known as the Heist of the Century, is a real important one for us because that was...
It's a really insanely impressive heist.
You have to just stand back and go, wow, what? They pulled off the theft of 3,000 tons of maple syrup from syrup reserves over the course of 2011 to 2012, grand totaling about $20 million in maple syrup, and did so by slowly taking barrels out, filling them with water, draining the contents into their own private storage facilities in Vermont, and then putting them back into the reserve.
That's it. Just did it for 2 years straight every day.
Millions and millions, and then were able to distribute illegally the maple syrup to people who were none the wiser. You know, because the people who had access had the ability to then take the raw material and, you know, bottle it and do their thing otherwise. And yeah, millions of dollars, 20 million or so from the facility that the ticket from provides 77% of the world's maple syrup. Like, this shit was huge. It was a massive fucking heist. And then, you know, they kind of got caught eventually when these the people who check the syrup they only check it like once a year or some wild shit. Like it's some like no one ever goes to look.
Can a single guy steal?
Yeah. Then the answer is like an infinite volume if you let it be. And then yeah, they all got caught, and I think the leader went away for 8 years or something like that.
The Quebec man's daring theft fell short after police were tipped off and he and an accomplice landed in jail. Now the ringleader behind Canada's infamous heist phase has a new challenge. Pay his victims $9 million or serve 6 more years in jail. They straight up told him, if you give all the money back, we'll let you out. And he was like, I don't know where that money is.
We take our maple syrup very seriously. All kidding aside, you don't fuck around. You don't fuck around with the reserve.
I'll be honest. That's a bad deal. I would not pay $8 million to get out of jail 6 years early.
Do you have it?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
Do you have it? Like, you know? Yeah. There you go. The Great Canadian Heist of the Century. All right? The more you know.
Oh, wait, hold on. Don't go back. I never even said, hey, me and Paige are going to be watching the Game Awards tomorrow at 3:30 Pacific.
We did say, but say it again.
Me and Paige are going to be watching the Game Awards tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time over at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt.
Me, Reggie,
Go watch
and Min.
that.
Me and Reggie and Min are also
Wooly on
going to
different
be
monitors.
watching. And we're going to be... the energy will be more reluctant over
The
here.
energy
I promise
me and
you.
Paige bring to every TGA is, maybe
Oh,
Bloodborne.
yeah. No, I get it. All right.